Wake up on a Tuesday? Well, you know what? It's not just any Tuesday. It's NFL trade deadline day. So we thought we would bust out a special. Sammy's in the house. Damon's here. We got a lot to get to. Trades are coming. Are the Niners going to make one? We will get into it next.
Yeah, I mean, we could have made a new graphic, a new intro, but that would have taken a level of effort and time that we simply do not have to apply to this. It is really good to see you, though. A special wake up, a little triumvirate for you. Damon Bruce, Larry Krueger, Sam Batesh. We all go way back.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking football for a very, very long time. Look at Sam wearing the business suit. Sam, since bringing the NHL into his life, is just taking his presentation to a whole new level.
You know, Samboni's the nickname, and normally I've got the Kings gear on, and it's a pretty cash look. Today, though, I decided, in spirit of what we're doing, why not dress like the GM, right? The one I kind of look, imagine me with jeans and cool sneakers on, which is what's happening underneath, and this would be like how you'd want to, this is what you'd want your GM to be. You'd want him to walk in and not be all the way in a suit, but just feeling business, right? A little business on top, ready for anything on the bottom, and I just feel like that's it. I feel like a young, hip GM right now. That's what I'm trying to be.
Like a young and hip GM. Larry,
well, no, what he looks like is James Gladstone's older brother. You know, that's what he looks like, who is the Rams GM, or is the former Ram executive, who's now the GM of the Jaguars. He's like 34.
It's perfect.
Do you realize the way this trend is going? If we just stay with it, fast forward, like, I don't know, maybe 100 years or so. And let's welcome on the GM of the Arizona Cardinals. Right. She's a 7-year-old girl from from Glendale, and she is just sharp as a tack. Let's welcome Lois. Lois, come on in.
Lois, now tell us, you did the Rubik's Cube in class in under 2.5 minutes, and that's what got you here. And just let us know, have you watched football? Do you generally watch football or not?
7th grader putting 7-rounders on the table. You got to like that an awful lot. You really do. Look, at what point is an NFL team going to say, we're just going to let AI do this? We're going to let AI make all of our roster decisions, and we don't need to pay a GM. We got Chat GPT NFL version, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to let that make our decisions. But we're not there yet. A little human thinkery still seems to be part of it. And let me tell you what people are thinking today, because we got trades made before we even went live. And here's what I love.
Let's update people. Where are we at?
Krueger calls us last night and says, we should do a live show, and let's not do it like when the deadline is expiring. We don't want to be talking about the dead body. We want to be talking about the murder scene. We want to show up at the crime scene. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea.
So forensic team, let's go.
Yeah. So here we are. We're on live 9:30 a.m. West Coast time till question mark. It's like a New Year's Eve party. We're going to go as long as necessary today. What we already have, we'll just start, of course, around Niner buzz. Nothing has happened. But there is no more buzzy name down in Santa Clara than Bradley Chubb right now of the Miami Dolphins. It really seems like a lot of people in the know think that Bradley Chubb, by the end of this day, Larry and Sam, will either be a 49er or a Cowboy. Let's talk about John Lynch and what you're putting on the table right now in this phone call with Miami. What are you offering?
Let me jump into one thing first. Let me just jump and say one thing. We had this conversation months ago, both of you. I had this conversation with Larry. I had this conversation with you, Damon. The minute the Bosa thing went down, that's the guy I turned to, because I was convinced Miami was going to have a catastrophe of a season, and it's been even more glorious than I could have expected. So Chubb was the name all along that I thought would be available, and would the Niners go after it? And as soon as the Bosa news came in, and of course, stack on top of it Fred Warner, but Chubb is the name that I thought all along. Before this was even a conversation, a rumor, etc. I just thought Miami is the team that we're picking apart. That's the pig roast. Miami is the pig roast this season. I had a feeling it would be, and that's got to happen. You two are going to be better at speaking at who to give up for that. It's not an at all cost in my estimation, but I wouldn't be surprised if Miami is thinking, here's our chance
to try to get some draft capital. For whatever their new GM is. I mean, let's be honest.
Interim, right? Isn't that an interim? It's like a new interim GM at the moment.
Right. Their GM is basically trying to say, look at me, make these one-sided deals, and then give me the job. So he's trying to earn his job right here, in the midst of this trade season. Well, Well, let's talk about Bradley Chubb for a second. He is a defensive end who's kind of, he's 6'4". He probably was about 250 a few years ago. They list him this year at 6'4", 268. So he's creeping up towards 270, which is exactly kind of more along the lines of what the Niners like. This year, he has 4 sacks, 25 tackles, 14 solo, but 4 sacks. He hasn't had one in a few weeks. His last sack was against Carolina on October 6th. And then he had one against the Colts in the first week. He had, September 7th, one on September 14th, one on September 18th. So that's his game log for this year. Now he did not.
It's a little unfair to hold any one Dolphin game log against any one player, though, right? I mean, it's been a rough year for all
except the Atlanta game. Yeah, except the.
What
Atlanta
I was going to
game.
say is let me share the screen here, you guys can see this. Now he didn't play last year, right? He had a major injury, so he didn't play last year. He rehabbed all last year. So if we go back to his 2023 season, here's his game log, and if you look at it, I mean, it's pretty impressive. You got 11 sacks. Anybody who gets double-digit sacks in the NFL is worth having for sure.
Especially, Larry, let me just mention this, especially now when the league isn't even necessarily prioritizing and celebrating that number alone, because now the league is so good at compiling, thanks to what Damon said earlier with ChatGPT, et cetera. But the research departments here, it's about disruption. It's about whether you are blowing up an offensive play. It's whether you are making the quarterback move from his spot, having him read his progressions quicker than he wants to. It really is about whether you are making the offense hurry up. It's no longer about necessarily bringing the quarterback to the ground behind the line of scrimmage, because many quarterbacks are mobile now enough where they're going to get back to the line of scrimmage or gain a yard maybe on a play where you blow it up and it technically doesn't go down as a sack. So Chubb to also have the double digit in that department when we know that now we're going well beyond the sack number to decide whether you are a disruptive defensive player. So he's clearly doing both, which, as I said, is something you're seeing less and less of now.
We should tell you his cap hit. He signed a 5-year, $110 million extension with the Dolphins in November of 22. Excuse me, $63.2 million guaranteed. But he had that major knee injury that cost him his 24 season. So then he agreed to a revised deal this March that reduced his 25 base salary and cap hit, and it kept him with the Dolphins for the 25 season. It was renegotiated to give the Dolphins cap relief. The deal includes, as I said, $63.2 million in guaranteed money, but he tore the ACL. He accepted a pay cut, so it wasn't like it was a restructuring. It was more of a pay cut. So the contract will run through 2027 right now, with 2028 also added at the time of the extension.
Well, think about it, Krug.
To spread out the bonus.
This is one of the, parameters that John Lynch on KNBR said he was sort of setting for any deal that he wants to make. He doesn't want a guy who's going to fly the coop or have to renegotiate with. Chubb is under contract for 2 more years. You'd be trading for him in his age 30 season, so 31, 32, touch older than you'd want, but
yeah,
they're in beggars can't be choosers mode. If they can get that deal done, I would go as high as a 4th. Maybe a 3rd. Because
I don't know. There's a big difference there.
It is. It's a real big
by
difference.
The way,
that's the thing. I don't think I want to give a 3rd for Brad.
You know what affects this also?
Breaking story right now.
Okay, give it to us.
The Jets are trading Sauce Gardner to the Colts.
Wow, Colts.
So here's where I think if I'm John Lynch, I'm swooping in. Not that I want Sauce Gardner, but if they're willing to trade Sauce Gardner,
Quinnen
this is Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's a corner. He's going to trade one of the great corners in the league.
Wow.
The Jets are starting over. I would go to them right now and say, here's my 2nd round pick. I'll take Quinnen Williams.
Yep.
And if you don't like that, I'll trade. How about this? How about 2 2s? And I get my pick of, 2 or 3 guys, including Williams. So I'll take Williams, and then I'll take maybe, Jermaine Johnson, and maybe I'll take, I don't know. I mean, I'll look at your roster. Give me a couple picks plus, and I'll give you multiple 2s. I think when I see Sauce Gardner to the Colts, it makes me say, The Jets are absolutely in a sell mode.
Right.
And
Somebody just
go
pulled the
get
fire alarm.
Quinnen. Go get here. How about this? How about Quinnen and his brother? How about trade for Quinnen and Quincy? They're brothers. Quincy's the linebacker. Quinnen's the D tackle. That wouldn't be bad. How about a fifth round pick for Bradley Chubb, and how about a second and a conditional pick for Quinnen and his brother, and let's go.
Well, this is exciting that the Jets are going TJ Maxx on us. Is pretty exciting that you'd get this, because I was looking at Miami and I wanted to ask you both this question. Is it possible? Two things. Number one, that Howie Roseman already stole the show in Miami. The Jalen Phillips move, is that the player, frankly, that the Niners could have used even more than Chubb? Is he really the belle of the ball there with Miami? And now you've missed out and you're looking at just whatever is left?
I don't think so. I don't think so. He's a free agent at the end of the year, and he's had major injuries. I mean,
but Phillips is a guy with upside that the league seems to think upside on Phillips is there more so than with Chubb.
He's great, but they gave their third-round draft choice for a rental for a guy who's had a lot of injuries. Now he's really good, and he'll help them this year. Yeah. Oh wait,
look, the Eagles are in position where they have the
Jets signed Sauce Gardner,
and they have the capital, and they also have the capital because they stockpile draft
picks. But this is the window. I mean, here it is. Yes. This is it. You are playing all in, full in poker with every game. I mean, if you're the Eagles. So I don't begrudge them the overspend on the player who might be at risk, because it's the time to do that.
And the other question about Miami is this for both of you. If Waddle gets moved, does that change the number on Chubb? And by that, I mean, if Miami can get top pick for Waddle, which is apparently what they're saying. That conversation is apparently a first-round draft pick for Waddle. Now, I don't know that Waddle's worth a first-round draft pick, but that's the conversation Miami's having. If someone bites on that, and I know Jacksonville was in the running, and now they obviously went and got Jacoby, but if someone bites on Miami for Waddle with a first-round pick, does that mean now Chubb could be available at a 4 instead of a 3? In other words, they've got what they want. I think the Waddle thing does affect this, and if Waddle moves, I think Chubb is available for even less than that.
By the way, from Adam Schefter, I mean, he brings us the Jets. You want to talk about what bad ownership does, and you want to talk about how bad ownership defines a football team with, hey, we're on this path. No, we're not. I don't like this path, so now we're on that path. We're going to zigzag so often that you can't even tell what direction we're actually facing. The Jets just signed Sauce Gardner to a 4-year, $120 million extension this offseason, and trade him before you get to week 10 to the 7-2 Colts. Like, what are you doing as a franchise? What is your plan? How are you building it together? How are you ever going to turn the corner if every corner turn comes with a full-on franchise new direction?
Well, this is what happens. This is what happens with franchises that bad franchises. They have regime change, and then when you have regime change, you're starting from ground zero. And the thing about it too is, like, you got teams like Kansas City. They've had the same head coach, same GM, same defensive coordinator, same special teams coordinator, same offensive coordinator for like years and years and years. And every single time you go have a new regime, you got to kind of start over, and you're starting at the beginning. It makes it very difficult to compete with the best teams in football. By the way, the Colts moved 2 number 1s. 2 number 1 picks for Sauce Gardner. So that's a heavy price.
That is heavy. So my question is this: is Indy good enough to win in Buffalo or Kansas City in January? Does this move turn them into that?
No.
Right? Can the Colts win in Buffalo, in Kansas City in January? That's what Sauce Gardner needs to do for you at the price of 2 first-round picks. It's interesting.
I don't want to make
the conversation about Daniel Jones only because the Gardner thing is that interesting, and Jonathan Taylor needs to play, right? We know that Jonathan Taylor in a playoff game is more the X factor than Daniel Jones potentially. And defensively now, this puts them in an elite status. They were already a very good defense. And
here's the reason why you're cool with 2 firsts for it. Gardner's 24. I mean, he's at the dawn of a career that looks like, even on the absurdly dysfunctional Jets, begins on a Pro Bowl path. I mean, this kid can play.
Is this the best Colts defensive player since, remember, Bob Sanders?
Are you kidding
me?
Dude,
right?
Bob,
How about DeForest Buckner?
Right. Okay. Yes, but I think Bob Sanders was more. I'm in the lineup, and we are at this level on a defense. I'm out of the lineup, and it completely changes the math. Bob Sanders was that guy for them.
Steve Entman? No, sorry.
I
just got cold memories there for a second.
It's great.
So we got the breaking news that Sauce Gardner got moved. This morning began with an awful lot of Bradley Chubb buzz around the Niners. We'll see what John Lynch thinks of that. Also,
there is this too. There is this. Brad Graham is putting out the 49ers are considered to be a top destination to land Bradley Chubb per the news breaking says per the news breaking dog. Oh, Ricky. Yeah. How much credence do you put in this guy, Ricky Scoops?
It's a good looking graphic. Right. It's a good looking graphic. And
he's definitely paid for Canva Pro.
Yeah, I think it's solid, and you could convince me that that's already happened even. So that's the power of social media. So good on Ricky. We're talking about it, but we're talking about it for a lot of different sources, Ricky or not.
This Ricky guy had some scoop like a year ago that came true, and he's been victory lapping that ever since.
He really has. Schefter, by the way, is reporting the Saints are trading wide receiver Rashid Shaheed to the Seahawks.
So, man, when I was looking around the Saints earlier today, and I'll tell you why in a minute, I was looking at Shaheed thinking this is a player that maybe the 49ers could add. He would help them on special teams, and he's just another guy to try out at wide receiver since, you're having, Johnny Holstaff come by and audition for wide receiver.
So do we want to have that conversation? Do you want to pivot defense to offense here on the Niners wide receivers? The Shaheed thing is interesting, and here's what happened in New Orleans. They basically, everyone's calling about Olave, and they made Shaheed available. Everybody's calling about Olave. That's the guy that everyone's looking for. And then the Saints are saying, well, we're going to ask for everything here. We're going to throw first round, second round pick at you. You're not going to bite. And then we'll say, but you can have Shaheed for this. And that's clearly what happened. I don't know that Shaheed is that guy. The Niners, I'm looking. The Colts have a player actually that could be interesting for the Niners, and he hasn't done much recently for the Colts, but Adonai Mitchell is a young player and could be somebody that the Niners say, all right, now we have a little bit of a wide receiver room. I love Adonai Mitchell.
Are they moving him?
I read that name. I've read that name, that Adonai Mitchell is somebody that's fallen out of favor with the offense of late. And this is a team that look, Daniel Jones has played the way he has, but this team moves through Jonathan Taylor for sure. I don't think the Colts see Adonai Mitchell is the key to their offense, whereas he could be that next piece for the Niners.
I'll give you a guy that I think would be a good one. Jordan Schultz reported last night that the Dolphins have been open to trading 5-time Pro Bowl safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. And if you watch the Niners right now, they have young players at safety, but I don't know if I would call them good young players at safety. They have young players that need developing at safety. They like Malik Mustafa the most, but they also have other guys, and some of them fit and some of them don't seem to fit. If you could get a Minkah Fitzpatrick for a Jair Brown and a day 3 pick, I think I would, if I were the 49ers, I would try to explore that, because I think Minkah,
what did the Dolphins just send? What did they get him from the Steelers? What did they
Steelers. Jalen Ramsey.
Well, what's going on here, by the way, is that Minka's a great player, but the Steelers just needed a corner, so they traded him for Ramsey, and the Dolphins are just a bad team. So all I'm saying is I don't think Minka's the answer for the Niners in and of itself, but
that's a luxury move, Larry. It's a luxury move.
Well, I don't know about that. You've got breakdowns in the middle of the field. You're going to have to be better on defense. I mean, the Niners, it's a rush and cover game. You got two things you got to get better at. You got to get better at rushing, and you got to get better at coverage. And so the only thing I wouldn't be interested in if I were the Niners is those second level defenders. Anybody who can rush the passer inside or outside, I'm interested in. Anybody who can potentially defend the pass, I'm interested in. Schefter put this out, guys, an hour ago. This is the updated trade deadline tally sheet. So this is what's happened so far. You heard about the deals early, right? Flacco went to Cincy, and Dafe Owe and Gilman got traded for each other. Owe went to the Chargers. Gilman went to the Baltimore Ravens. Tyson Campbell and Greg Newsome got flip-flopped for each other. Newsome went to Jacksonville. Campbell left Jacksonville for Cleveland. Roger McCreary went to the Rams. That was a good move, I thought. Kyle Duggar went to the Steelers. Niners traded for Keon White. Jets added John Mechie the third. Not really sure why there. Michael Carter the second, the corner.
Well, no, that was the trade. It was Carter for Mechie. That was the trade.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mechie was in Philly.
Yeah.
And they got Carter from from the Jets. And then the Eagles also got Jair Alexander from the Ravens, who
By the way, you're Mechie. You're like, fuck.
It wasn't that long ago that Jair Alexander was awesome.
Yeah, and frankly,
Dallas
that was
traded for Logan Wilson. Ravens traded for Draymond Jones. Philly got Jalen Phillips. Howie Roseman, very active, as you can tell on this list. And then Jacoby Myers, who wanted out of Vegas badly, gets traded to Jacksonville.
Yeah,
and that makes me wonder, are they now going to consider moving Brian Thomas? I would definitely call Gladstone about Brian Thomas because I think he's that special of a player. I know he's not what the Niners need right now, but what the Niners really need to do right now is just keep building. If they come out of this thing with a good player that's part of their future, that isn't necessarily an edge rusher, I still think it's a good move for the 49ers. They need to keep building the way that the Eagles keep building, the way that the Rams and all these teams keep building.
By the way, Jacksonville is not in a wide receiver. They're not expunging wide receivers. They are collecting wide receivers.
Yeah, exactly.
This conversation was last week. Here's what happened in Jacksonville. Here's exactly what happened. We drafted a wide receiver. We did not draft a defensive player. All right. That trade for Travis Hunter, they just found out he's a wide receiver. He had his best game as a receiver and also got hurt. And now they lost him for 4 games. And maybe they know deep down that it's more than 4 games. He's on the IR right now, but we don't know that it's more than 4 games or not. And they're deciding, all right, we've got to plug that hole. Jacoby makes a lot of sense. And Brian Thomas has not been exactly the player they expected, but they know there's still a lot of season left. And what they saw last season, they know they saw with their own eyes with with worse quarterback play. And now they've got an opportunity. Jacksonville feels that they are in it. I promise you they are going after wide receivers. And
absolutely. Frankly, well, they've also got, they've got wide receivers who drop more footballs than Taylor Swift drops albums, right? I mean,
yes.
This is a team that is trying. I mean, they're at the fork in the road.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yes.
This is either this is the direction we're staying in, and all of our hopes are pinned to this guy, or are we coming off of him? We're going to give him one more group, and we're going to give him Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, and a healthy Travis Hunter.
And when Travis Hunter's back, yeah, exactly.
And we'll see you in 2026, everybody. That's the year that you're going to hear from the Jaguars. I think that's the way they're looking at this. But they're very much in it this year too.
They're in it. Liam Cohen has already done a good enough job that Jacksonville is absolutely in it. We know that division is still winnable. We're talking about the Colts, but that division is still winnable from Jacksonville's perspective. And there's a lot of football left. So Jacksonville is not. The Niners, when it comes to receivers, there are teams out there that will talk to them. I don't think.
By the way, for a guy who's kind of had a lackluster year, now who on the Raiders isn't? I don't think it's necessarily his fault.
Well, Bowers and Max Crosby are still fantastic.
For a guy who's not doing much this season, who asked out, the fact that SpyTech was able to get a 4th and a 6th rounder for Jacoby Myers is a real nice haul for SpyTech in a give it up, why even try anymore year for the Raiders. And if you're thinking about it, if I'm SpyTech, I would have been in Mark Davis's office all week saying, please let me trade Max Crosby. We're going nowhere fast.
By the way, guess what? Could that conversation still be happening? Could that conversation still be happening?
No.
Look, we saw. Well, look, this is the season in which Micah Parsons went from the Cowboys to the Packers. I'm going to say that anything's on the table. Anything is on the table.
Mark Davis would rather never, ever, ever eat again at P.F. Chang's than trade Max Crosby. And we know how much Mark loves P.F. Chang's. He is not saying goodbye to P.F. Chang's, and he is not saying goodbye to Max Crosby.
Well, then I would say, look, the Commanders could use a starting quarterback, and we don't. Gino's just nothing. Can I flip Gino to the Commanders for a 7th rounder, for God's sake?
Here's the trade that I would offer. If I were the Cardinals after watching the game last night, I'd call the Raiders right now and say, hey, you guys need a fresh start. Yeah. And then once they finally said, hey, we need a fresh start, I'd say, how about this? I'll trade you Kyler and our 2nd for Max.
Wow.
And then now you get a fresh start in Vegas with a young quarterback who's got a lot of talent. And guess what? You think Gino's got talent. This guy's got way more talent. Now you don't have to go quarterback in the draft. You have a good young quarterback. And yeah, we have a defensive end, but you also have a 2nd-round pick. A pretty good 2nd-round pick. If I were the Cardinals, I'm not saying that the Raiders would do that, but I would be looking to shop Kyler today, because I think what we saw last night is that the Cardinals have a problem that goes beyond talent. And it really has to do with personality and leadership, and they have none with Kyler, and he still has a lot of talent. I would try to divest myself ASAP from Kyler to try to get down the road, and if whatever I could get, but I would try to swing big and see if I could get a great player in a league where there's not enough quarterbacks. What do you guys think? Kyler is young. He completes a high percentage. You could convince yourself that he's got talent and that he just needs a change of scenery. What do you think? Raiders for Kyler?
The Raiders aren't a good change of scenery for anybody, though.
Not right now. Although, look, again, on paper, I will say coming into this season, Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Ashton Genty, I was so convinced, Geno Smith, that this was going to work out. And we have to say at this point, it just clearly is not. There is plenty of season left, but nobody's willing to say that right now the Raiders look like a team that is coming around on that. Yeah, it's not good news for Kyler, no matter what you say, Larry. You can't.
Up. If I'm John
he needs to get out of Arizona.
I would have said, hey, look, I know you love
But
Max
for
Crosby.
Vegas, yeah.
I know you love Max Crosby. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you like Max Crosby. It doesn't matter that he looks awesome and he's got neck tattoos and your fan base loves that shit. What matters is winning football games. We're nowhere even close to doing that with this guy. We're not even close. We're not even in the neighborhood of thinking about winning football games with Max Crosby. Started over all over again. They should have fired Pete Carroll 2 weeks ago. It's already screaming for total regime change all the way around, and Mark Davis won't do it. And that's why the Raiders remain the Raiders in perpetuity.
By the way, I don't know that wouldn't do it. 31-0. I remember when, of all people, Pete Carroll beat Rick Neuheisel in the game that was supposed to matter most, UCLA, USC, and they didn't even let Neuheisel coach the next week. I mean, they got shut out. I can't remember. The score might have been 51-0, but USC destroyed. Pete Carroll destroyed Neuheisel. And right there in that game where they got shut out. Right? It was basically that, Damon. He did, because UCLA, by some weird set of circumstances, someone was ineligible and UCLA was playing for the Pac-10 championship. It was back then the Pac-10 the next week. And they didn't even let Rick coach that game. They said, well, for what happened against USC, it was so ugly, you're out of here. So Pete Carroll knows what it's like on that side of it. That 31-0 Chiefs game, that tells you, right? Because that's the bar that you measure yourself against, not just for every team in the NFL. How about the AFC and how about the AFC West? So they've been competitive. They have been competitive. They've had leads against the Chiefs late in the last three matchups in Kansas City. And then that game, 31-0. That is the kind of game where you look at it and you say, all right, are we that bad? Does this game define us? And it's worth taking a look at that. The other guy that could be in play from a quarterback standpoint, Larry, you're throwing out Kyler Murray. And this guy's got less on the ledger than Kyler Murray in regards to, I've done that and I can say I've seen it. Are the Colts, who are clearly all in and already made a move, are the Colts the kind of team that could say, all right, Anthony Richardson, what will you give us for him? Is there a team out there that thinks Anthony Richardson could be turned around by their coaching staff and could be the prospect that the Colts expected him to be that he never lived up to? Because that's an opportunity for the Colts to say, it is this season. We got sauce, and now we're going to make another move, and it is about us being better than Kansas City or Buffalo in January, and we can do this if we can move Richardson for something significant.
I don't think you're getting anything significant. I think you get a fourth or a fifth at this point for Richardson, because he's already kind of played and struggled, and I don't think anybody's going to look at him as, he's our guy day one. I think he's more of like a lottery ticket. So I would say fourth round pick, fifth round pick.
By the way, Minnesota's the team to look at. Minnesota's the team that could use a backup quarterback.
They also could use a corner. The Raiders got a fourth
Anthony
and
Richardson
a
could use Kyle Shanahan in his life, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, a fourth and a sixth is what the Raiders got for Jacoby Myers, by the way. That's pretty interesting considering.
That's a great haul for Spy
Yeah,
Tech.
Damon, you said it. I think that is good news. That's the beginning of good news for the Raiders.
They have 10 picks, by the way, in next year's draft. The Raiders.
They're going to need them.
Again, if Sauce Gardner's getting 2 firsts, I bet you I could have gotten 2 firsts and another pick for Max Crosby. That's the way I'd be looking at it as the Raiders.
There was somebody in here. Oh yeah, I'm going to share this. This is unbelievable. You always hear, you're going to get the idiot trades, and I'm not calling anybody an idiot, but it's an idiot trade. Here we go.
What is it?
The idiot suggestion trades.
Uh-oh.
We love these. We love playing make believe.
I love an idiot trade.
Brock grew up a Dolphins fan. Tua grew up a 49ers fan. Both quarterbacks could benefit from a change of scennery. Tua would be great under Kyle Shanahan. Brock would flourish in McDaniel's system. Would you swap them? And I like how Coach Yak immediately is like, Absolutely not.
There you go. Thank you, Yak.
Let me
Thank you.
see what the comments look like. The comments better say F off.
And by the way, who needs a research department when you can just find out who rooted for a team when they were younger and trade them there? I love that.
These days,
Brock grew up a Dolphins fan, so he makes sense in their system. It's hysterical.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. The comments: how would Brock benefit from a change of scenery? Exactly. He this guy's like Coach Yak's like he just wants to get rid of Tua.
So I don't have the accompanying graphic to go along with it, but I saw one even worse than that.
Worse than that? Brock for Tua? This guy's like, I'd stop watching football.
Yeah, that is a garbage move. That is just absolutely useless.
They hadn't even immobilized Jaden Daniels' arm yet, coming off the field on Sunday night or Monday night there.
Sunday night.
And somebody on Twitter was like, Purdy to Washington. They need a starting quarterback. You get Debo back. Shanahan gets Debo back. And then you go ahead and you get Purdy and Debo and a third rounder back for. I was like, God damn it! Are people just sitting home watching football on mushrooms? Is that what's going on here?
And again, and Mac Jones
ayahuasca trip trades. What's going on?
By the way, the Mac Jones. I'm not even going to call it experiment. Just your backup quarterback is good for this stretch of games. We're about to reach the level where Mac Jones is no longer the difference. And frankly, that Rams game looming is the one where Mac Jones was the belle of the ball in the first matchup against the Rams. It will not happen again. It will not happen again. Mac Jones is not going to sweep the Rams this season. And that's where Brock Purdy.
Really?
Yes. Brock Purdy is better than Mac Jones, and over the stretch of a season will be the better quarterback just because Mac Jones is better. Mac Jones is designed to be good for a handful of games. He is not going to sweep the Rams. That will not happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's going to happen. And it's going to happen this Sunday. By the way, as far as Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, this is how I see it. Brock Purdy's better than Mac Jones, I think. I think the mobility that he has makes him better. Now, there's lots of people that believe that Jones is better, and that's a lot of recency bias. And also they're looking at the bigger guy with a little bit of the bigger arm, where they're looking away from what Purdy did in the playoffs a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl. He looked really good. But Brian Baldinger went on 95.7 The Game, and he was asked if the 49ers should send Brock Purdy, back out there this week against the Rams if he's healthy. This is what Baldy said. He said, I don't know if you can risk making the change right now. Every one of these games could be huge. You have 2 division games in a row coming up, and I don't know what kind of rust Brock is going to have coming back. Are you going to lose a game trying to shake the rust off of Brock, providing there is rust? Maybe he comes out and is razor sharp, but most guys that miss a significant amount of time don't come back in the same condition as when they left. So that's like the $64 million question on Shanahan's plate right now, which is, okay, Brock's your guy. You've made it perfectly clear. You're not going to have chaos in your organization. You're not going to tell everybody, oh, yeah, it's a crapshoot. Now it's a dice roll. Now it's anybody's game. You're going to stay with the guy you paid, and that makes sense, and that's solid. But the question is this. I think Brock Purdy's better than Mac, but not with the turf toe. With the turf toe, I think Mac is clearly better than Brock, and I would play Mac Jones until the bye week. Give Brock Purdy a big stretch. If they say they needed 6 weeks, give him more. If they say you need maybe 8 weeks, give him more. If you wait till the bye week, you will have given him a lot of time to rest. Then coming out of the bye week, you have 4 games in the playoffs. That could be 3 more playoff games. That could be 7 games. To me, that's where you go back to Brock, right? Coming out of the bye, and then let's see where it goes. And if he can play 1 game, then he plays 1 game and it's back to Mac. If he can play the rest of the season, then it's Brock's job and he plays the rest of the season. But I don't want to go to Brock, then go back to Mac, then try to go work your way back to Brock. I think it starts to have a bad effect on the team. Stay with Mac until the bye, and then ride with Purdy in the final 4 weeks.
The mistake was already made. The Jacksonville game was a huge mistake. Damon, you and I yelled at each other as loud as we could before that game, and certainly afterward. There was no reason that Brock Purdy come back for the Jacksonville game. The Jacksonville game was less important than the game that was the next week, which was the Rams game. It's an AFC matchup that's not going to affect your seeding in the NFC whatsoever. There was no reason. Now, yes, the outcome of the game makes it a double down correct statement that we made, but it wasn't even about the outcome. Jacksonville was not a game that you needed to have Brock Purdy out there for whatsoever. Mac Jones, call it what you want, revenge game. Bottom line is Mac Jones understands Jacksonville. You could have clearly played him there against the Jaguars. That game was irrelevant compared to the games that were coming up on the schedule later. That was the mistake that was made, and I will stand by that. And Brock Purdy is going to be your better quarterback whenever you get him back. If he is healthy, and again, huge if, I hate the letters I and F. They're the biggest swing in all of sports, but healthy Purdy is when he comes back no matter what. I will double down. Mac Jones is not sweeping the Rams, though.
To me, it's as simple as this. There is no reason to remove Mac Jones from the equation at this particular time, the same way that there is no reason to rush to reinsert Brock Purdy at this particular time. This is called one of the best situations you could possibly be in, other than the starter never got hurt in the first place. Why people keep trying to add an element of negativity to what is an excellent situation for the 49ers to be in right now is it's just proof that we got a whole bunch of amateurs who only know how to sell hurt feelings through NFL coverage. The 49ers are in such an advantageous position with two highly executing, successful, it's working quarterbacks, both of them dealing with injuries, one of them sort of covering for the other at this particular time. That's great. You've got two mature young men who are not in some sort of internal tug of war for the 49ers offensive soul. There is no usurping the king going on. There is no subterfuge. There is no stabbing anybody in the back here. This is a healthy, A-plus, functioning, good quarterback room. Why people are trying to spin it into negative just proves that the only thing you know how to sell is negativity.
I don't know if anybody's spinning. I don't think people are
situation.
spinning it into negative. Everybody's got a different opinion, Damon, on how the Niners should play their hand of cards. And it's a juicy topic for us, because how they play their hand of cards could determine. I think they could be the full gamut of finishes. I mean, they could tear through both quarterbacks in 2 weeks and be looking at Adrian Martinez, and it's season over, even though I like Adrian Martinez. But it could be season over. Or you could go with Mac, and Brock could get healthy, at least healthy enough to deal with the turf toe. And then a healthy Brock could reinsert himself and maybe lead you through the NFC playoffs. I don't know about you guys, but I have a whole lot less respect today for 95% of the NFC playoff contenders than I did in week one.
I'm not sure about that.
Green Bay doesn't look very good. Minnesota just beat Detroit in Detroit. Philly's got problems. They lost to the New York Giants a couple weeks ago. This is not a good New York Giants team. It was a division game. Washington has gone up in smoke.
Washington, we don't have to speak about again.
Tampa's walking wounded. Heck, Carolina's got 5 wins. It's wide open in the NFC. And all I'm saying is, if you want to say you like Philly or you like Detroit that's fine. But there is no it team this year. There's no team that looks like the Eagles last year, where it's just a freaking juggernaut rolling. I think the best team, in my opinion, is the Rams, because they've got Stafford. They can throw for 400 yards. They've got a killer defensive line.
Kyron's been very good, but you know what? The Rams have issues. The Rams have special teams issues. They got to get the kicking game right, and it is costing them. Yeah, but it's costing them. It's costing them crucial games. It could cost them a playoff game. And if you told me right now I could have a flyer with Lions, Eagles, and you can take everyone else in the NFC, I still think that is a cash Super Bowl ticket. I think the Lions and Eagles are still a cut above the rest of everybody. The Niners are not healthy. The Bucs are not healthy. I did. Divisional game. JJ McCarthy back. Yes, they did. The Lions and the Eagles are a cut above the rest. Now, it's not a huge gap, but that's a cut above. We're not playing tiers here, but if we were, the Lions and Eagles are still on that tier. In my estimation, it's just what I've seen this year. And look, they've also played against each other. The Eagles have beaten the Bucs and the Rams. And yes, the Lions have lost to the Packers, and they just lost to the Vikings, but the Lions steamrolled the Ravens on Monday Night Football with Lamar. The Lions have the capability here to be exactly that team. Washington's done. Atlanta, we never need to talk about. There's 3 teams in the NFC West that are significant. There's 3 incredibly significant teams in the NFC West.
It's the NFC West, Tampa, Detroit, and Philly. That's
Fine.
what it is.
Fine.
I don't believe in anybody else. Really.
Okay. Yes.
Chicago, no.
No.
Carolina, no. Atlanta, I thought, no.
No, Atlanta.
Washington, no. Dallas, no.
There's no such thing as a bad team winning the Super Bowl. But this year's Super Bowl winner, in terms of the annals of history, will be forgotten the Monday after the Super Bowl. Just a pretty good football team
It depends.
will be the champion of this season.
It
They're
depends.
not going to be historically significant, which is why the banged up, it ain't all pointed in the right direction 49ers owe themselves one more move here today, which brings us back to why everybody's watching in the first place. Will it be Bradley Chubb with the Miami Dolphins?
Who do you think? Let's wager right now.
There's also another name we haven't said
money
defensively.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say we haven't said Trey Hendrickson, and I think he's just worth saying his name. I mean that's still in play. Trey Hendrickson, Cincinnati.
The question is, are they moving him or not? How about this one? This one just came across. Chicago Bears are trading for Browns pass rusher Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Okay. This is another. I would have gone. I would have tried to go get Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He's not. Is he with the Browns? I thought he was with Tampa. Wasn't he with Tampa? Did he just go to the Browns?
No, he was with the Browns.
He was with Tampa, though, wasn't he? Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Maybe he went to the Browns in the offseason.
Adam Schefter. Browns are sending.
Okay, so never. I don't remember Joe Tryon-Shoyinka.
That's all right. No, we're not gonna dig into that, Larry.
But the Bears get
my Tryon-Shoyinka jersey hasn't arrived yet.
Right.
The Bears get a pass rusher, and the Eagles want a pass rusher, and the Niners want a pass rusher, and there's a bunch of teams that are looking for pass rushers. Let's put some money on the table here. Let's put some money down. Let's see if we can get who the Niners, who would you, not who they need or who you want,
who they're really going to end up with.
Who do you think they'll end up with?
Let's be realistic.
I'll go first. I'll say the Niners end up with. This is so Niners.
Don't take my guy.
By the way, guys like Ramey's like Dieter's going to be so very upset if we trade for some help, Larry. Dieter's always negative, but yesterday he was off the charts negative. I mean, it was just like he turned me into
the playoffs.
He turned me into the welcome wagon positive guy just to balance out the stream last night. But I love Dieter. Dieter's awesome, but he is negative. I'm gonna say
this is why we got to get Sammy off the fucking show here. Sammy, thanks for dressing up. Larry and Damon need to step up. Screw you, Sam.
First of all, I'm wearing a tuxedo right now.
Yeah, exactly. Just for the deadline. It was my deadline outfit. That's all.
Look at Sam's like an executive in Southern California, and we're up here just slumming it. All right, here we go. I'm gonna say the Niners most likely it won't. They want Hendrickson, they won't get him, so they'll pivot to what they always pivot to when they can't get the guy. What do they go with? Our guy.
Someone that they used to know.
Somebody they used to know. They will make a trade at the deadline for Arden Key and Samuel Womack. They'll bring back two guys that they used to have. One, a versatile rusher. The other, a corner who's decent. And that will be their move. And they'll say that's what they're doing. Arden Key, Samuel Womack is my prediction for the Niners. Good.
I think you guys have one. I think they're bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo. No,
that's good. Yeah, that's fine.
I got one for you that's neither. So Arden Key to me is a very realistic. I will not be surprised at all to see that happen. I would do Arden Key. I would have already made that. I would have brought Arden Key to fucking New York with me. I would have made that trade last week. If I'm John Lynch, I'm calling Mickey Loomis and saying, do you really need Cam Jordan for 3
How did you just steal the one guy I had circled here? That's so funny. I'm finding a new one, but I love it. I swear to God, I'm sitting here reading about where the rumors on Cam Jordan. It's the one guy I looked at.
Cam Jordan doesn't want to leave. He's been a 15-year career Saint. He's loyal as shit. You got to love that about him. He doesn't want to leave the franchise. He doesn't want to be traded, but he went to Cal. And you only got 3 more games in the Voodoo Dome, and they ain't re-signing you. You are too old. You aren't going to be. Here's the thing.
How old is Cam Jordan?
Cam Jordan he's got to be 34.
What would you say 35? He does at this point? Because he doesn't bend the edge, and he's not he's not strong inside.
2.5 sacks. I mean, here's the thing. I can't beat fucking Picky. I need an experienced veteran defensive end who's seen every single look that a professional team can throw at you. Cam Jordan has seen it all, done it all. He doesn't even need to be coached. You put a uniform on him and you say, go play left defensive end. Just fucking do it. You know how to do it. You've been doing it for 15 years in this league. And you're a veteran voice on a group of on a defensive line that is full of young guys who don't know what they're doing yet. I think he fits. There is zero financial commitment that you need to make to him. He is not under contract next year. You're not going forward with him. You can even tell him we will book the private plane for you to go back and sign a one-day contract to retire a fucking Saint. But we need you to come and try to help us make the playoffs more than you need 3 more home games for a 1-8 football team.
It's a great one, Damon. I love it. Yeah.
And here's the thing. I want Cam Jordan for a 7th. And then based on production, that can be conditional to maybe bump up to a 6th. A 7th rounder for Cam Jordan. Why not?
I'd rather have Carl Granderson. I mean, if you're going to deal with the Saints, give me Davin Godchuk and Carl Granderson. Godchuk can be your run stuffer, and Granderson, who's from Sacramento, can be your edge rusher. I like those guys a little bit more than Cam Jordan.
Okay, so I got another one. We saw this team last night, and afterwards we heard we heard Jerry Jones speaking about a trade last night, and a lot of people in the Cowboys organization are thinking, "Ooh, this is going to make us better." I don't know that the Cowboys don't see themselves as sellers right now, and obviously the Micah Parsons thing is brutal for them at this moment in time, and we won't judge it for 10 years, but in this year, it's not looking like something that's helping them moving forward. How about a guy, Larry? You talk about a guy the Niners know well that they could have back, and this guy's not old either. How about Solomon Thomas?
I would take him. He's got a good motor, plays hard. Now obviously he wasn't worth that pick.
I would rather activate CJ West and play him and have him play like shit than Solomon Thomas make 2 plays and never be heard from again.
Well, how about use them both? I mean, it's
right.
Like that, this is like the final gas stop between now and the end of the trip. So it's like, you're going to need everybody. I would say, especially on a team like the Niners that loses 2 players a week, I would try to get volume here. See if I can get a couple players that can help you, on defense, but maybe on offense as well. I mean, to me, you have to find another back besides Christian McCaffrey to finish games with.
They've already made that trade, Larry. They've already made that trade. They can't trade for another Brian Robinson Jr.
Well, yes, they can, and they absolutely should make a deal here because they activate every single Sunday Isaac Guerrero, but have no confidence to use him, and you can't do that. You can't operate with an arm tied behind your back.
Yeah,
I don't care if you called up Kansas City and said, "Hey, we'll take Elijah Mitchell back for nothing." You got to get another back. You cannot finish these. The Niners are going to win 5 or 6 more games. So in the fourth quarter of those games, there's going to be 5 or 6 carries per game. That where everybody in the stadium knows you're going to run it, and you run it anyway, and the running back gets crushed. It's called finishing the game. Don't finish the game with the guy that's indispensable. Finish the game with somebody who is not indispensable. And the Niners are finishing the game with CMC. They got to take those 25 to 30 carries off of him if they want to have a shot at the Super Bowl. So it's a little bit of a side note. They need pass rush, but they need another back.
I just don't think that they're under any circumstances even thinking about trading for another running back. I just don't think they can. They don't have that much of a resource to spend on what is already
no. The defense has too many holes.
Surplus, exactly. They hardly have a surplus of running backs.
You have to have a plan to actually win.
But Brian Robinson, isn't Brian Robinson that plan, Larry? I don't understand. Brian Robinson he's the best backup running back in the league, isn't he? Next, David Montgomery, maybe.
Right now, you can't go a man short. That's what they're doing.
That's about roster. That's about juggling the roster on game day. That's just a mistake that's being made on game day.
Well, no, it's about
get Guerrero back out there.
It's about Guerrero, and they don't
get him back out there.
But it's not that, Sammy. It's not that they can't get him back out there. It's they don't want to get him back out there because they don't trust him. He fumbles the ball. So he's not the guy. They need to move him to a team that is a developmental team for a running back that
so let me say the guy. Then let me say the guy that you want. Kyle Monangai. Kyle Monangai is the guy you want back.
No. Give you an example. That's a good team though.
Yes. Okay.
So Kyle Monangai, by the way, anybody who follows my channel knows that I was going crazy all spring long. Draft Kyle Monangai. I probably had him in 40 different mock drafts. He went in the 7th freaking round. The Niners took Jordan James 2 rounds earlier. Who's better?
Yeah.
A Monangai or Jordan James?
Well,
Thank
we don't
you.
know about Jordan James because he hasn't hit a football field yet. I don't know. I haven't seen
Who's
him
better?
since he
Who's
played
better
at
right
Oregon.
now? But right now, Kyle Monangai is better.
Yes.
And he went two rounds later. And so I kind of question the Niners don't see it at running back. And if you don't believe me, go look at the list of running backs they've drafted. Trey Sermon, Ty Davis Price, Joe Williams. I mean, it's a who's who of dog crap. I mean, they can't draft running backs. Mike Shanahan could never miss. Kyle Shanahan can't hit. I mean, they absolutely cannot hit on running backs. They had to trade for CMC. My point is just, you're not going to use Garendo anyway. So at this roster movement point, send him to a Tennessee and get Pollard. Send him to a Tennessee, get Spears. Send him somewhere and send him to the Bears and get Roshan Johnson, who now with Monangai is just buried there. Go get somebody who you do trust and have 3 backs.
How about another guy they trust who's hanging out?
Run your meal ticket into it's why have you don't take your Bentley off-roading. You don't take your Pagini and roll it through the rock quarry.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just don't. You don't use Christian McCaffrey up 10 against the New York Giants to put the game away. And if you love Brian Robinson so much, why didn't you use him there?
Yeah, it's that is hard to explain. It doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense.
The trade for the running back though has already been made. I mean, again, Corey Kiner.
You don't have to trade anything big. I'm saying go get another running back. They're all over the place.
Izzy Abinaconda. Should have kept him.
Go get Elijah Mitchell. He's not doing anything in Kansas City.
By the way, old friend of the program's hanging out in Vegas too. Raheem
Mostert.
Mostert.
Go get Raheem.
Yeah,
exactly.
He had a nice return for the Raiders on
He did.
Yeah, that would be a great one. Go get somebody that you can use. Stop going a man down in the backfield just because you're protecting Lynch's pride. You took the wrong guy in the 4th round. Get over it. Get over it.
You're right. Don't chase it.
Don't chase it. Almost.
All right, boys, I got to roll out of here. I got the suit on for a reason, but I can't wait to track this and see how all the moves are doing today. Thank you for having me. You two are taking this all the way through. I mean, this is going until 4 Eastern time. I want you guys to give me every last drop of this, but please, it's always a pleasure. I love being with you. Krug Show and Bruce Plus. This is such a pleasure for me to be here. Thinking Out Loud, Siciliano and Sam. Follow and subscribe and like us there as well. But a beauty. What a deadline for both of you, and I can't wait for more all day.
Later, man.
Good to see you, Sammy. Thank you so very much. Larry, we've got nearly 5,000 people watching us across all the platforms that you're streaming on, that I'm streaming on, that Batesh was streaming on. So we've got a huge audience here now, and we just want to welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Please hit like and subscribe. And if you want to sprinkle that around all 3 channels, we would all really appreciate that. Give a little like and subscribe love to everyone involved here today. We thank Sam. We thank Larry. We thank Kevin Kruger, who came up with thumbnails for everyone. He's like water for the horses. Thank you very much, Kevin, for your help today. And
this would be a good time to maybe hit our supers, since we always look for that spot where we can hit our supers. And thank you to everybody for for being involved here today. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. We're going to do a Thursday night meet and greet at Pig and a Pickle in December. We'll give you the exact date here in a day or so.
Oh, you gotta lock that in with me, Larry. We'd love to come up and
we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you in the whole Plus Army. Pig and a Pickle, check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. We're also brought to you on the Krug Show side, and Damon as well on his side by Sleeper. The entire football season on the Krug Show is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. One-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry, Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And thanks to all you guys. Let's hit the supers here. Humdinger in the house. Say, Larry, where's the wicked candy?
By the way, I heard about this, Larry. Your audience came into my 11 a.m. show yesterday to tell me that you and Amy were just screwing over all the kids in Walnut Creek with healthy organic candy.
I told my wife, she's like, do you want to get the candy or do I? I'm like, we barely ever have any trick-or-treaters, especially since the pandemic. It's like the trick-or-treating has fallen off. And And she's like, well, I'll get it. I go, okay. And then I kind of knew. I'm like, oh, God, watch. She's going to wind up getting some kind of off-brand. And then all of a sudden I reach in there. I'm like, oh, she didn't. She got Milky Ways and Butterfingers. And I'm like, look at Amy. Way to go, honey. Milky Way and Butterfinger. I reached down. I'm like, wait a second. This isn't a Milky Way dark. I'm like, this isn't a Butterfinger. And I'm like, what the heck does it say on there? And it says Wicked Good or Wicked Candy or something. And I'm like, what's this wicked? So I brought 3 of them in here, and I'm like, look what my wife did. And I threw them up in the air. I'm like, enough of this garbage candy. And then people who are Trader Joe's fans in the chat were like, Krug, those are Trader Joe's. That's probably good candy. That's probably an upgrade on the regular candy. You know, they're the Trader Joe's Army.
The Trader Joe's candy is pretty damn good, but you know.
I didn't realize. I didn't know. I threw them up in the air. I did try them. I thought they were... On the candy scale, Damon, I'd say it wasn't like a knockoff that was like really bad. Like I'm trying to think what's a knockoff that's really bad. But like I like Coke, but I don't like Pepsi. Okay, I'm not a Pepsi guy. If you go in, hey, I'll have a Coke. We have Pepsi.
You want a Dr. Pepper. You don't want a Mr. Pibb.
I'll have water or something. And I'm not a big knockoff person. I used to joke with my parents when anytime we would get any kind of generic anything, like it says paper towels in yellow or whatever. It's like, what the heck? Why are we getting generic? But you got to save a few bucks when you got a big family. Anyway, the Wicked Candy, I would say, is a C+, B- candy at best. Okay. If I say to you, your kids just went trick-or-treating, your wife has given you permission to go into the bag and take anything out because she doesn't want their teeth to rot. So you have permission to steal from your own kid's candy bag. You go into that candy bag, and they went trick-or-treating around 7 or 8 blocks, and they've got every candy known to man is in that bag. What are you hunting around for? You can have 3 pieces of candy out of the kid's bag. You get 3 choices. What's your first round pick? What's your second round pick? What's your third round pick?
Any type of chocolate with a caramel involved. Chocolate and caramel is always Snickers. Very, very strong. So we're Milky Waying that. The Take 5 is a really good candy bar too. You see fewer and fewer of those these days. I like the Rolo. You don't see the Rolo very often, and the Rolo will pop up every now and then. I was happy to see a couple stray Rolos.
By the way, I mean, Rolo is like a royal candy. They wrap each and every piece.
Seriously. Yeah, it's a bit.
I mean, it's not just in it's not just in there and then here they come. No, each and every one is wrapped in tinfoil. Yes, that's a good one. Rolo is really.
What I like to do though is take some mini Snickers and put them right in the freezer, and then I like a frozen Snickers. To me though, I'm a sucker for Starbursts. Starbursts are my go-to, like sweet, savory. I like that waxy, gummy type of. I'm a Starburst guy.
Okay, I'm with you there. My first round pick is Swedish Fish, so I'm looking for the yellow Swedish Fish bag, and there it's like a traffic cone. It's so easy to find, and it could be 1 o'clock in the morning. It could be dark, Damon. I can still see the yellow Swedish Fish, so I go quickly for the Swedish Fish. I kind of like those Sour Patch strings that are kind of individually. Those are really good. My third choice, I'm a big $100,000 man myself.
Oh yeah, you know what? I didn't see a single $100,000 bar, and I look for those too, because then you got a little caramel, like Rice crispy, crunchy thing going on. That's fun.
$100,000 is pretty nice. All right, let's go to more.
We just did the tired radio segment that I said made sports talk radio so tired, and we did it. So we can't. Sorry.
What can we say? We're radio guys at our core. PWS. Any predictions on how many trades the Niners make?
One more.
I will say one more, and I think it's, as I said, Arden Key, Samuel Womack, something that is familiar. That'll be my guess. MSQ, any sleepers the Niners can get today? I think the sleepers would be like the defensive tackle, like a Tavondre Sweat from Tennessee. I think is the guy. I spent a half hour watching him last night. You're talking about a 366-pound nose guard who is just a monster in the middle. The Niners, look at their depth chart. The 49er depth chart is really, really barren in the middle of the field as far as their defensive line. I mean, here it is right here. This is the defense. Jordan Elliott, is he a long-term answer? No.
No.
Kalia Davis, is he a long-term answer? No. Kevin Givens, is he a long-term answer? No. Alfred Collins is, and CJ West is. Those guys are the keepers, right?
By the
West
way,
and
what
Collins.
is the CJ West healthy scratch situation going on right now?
He's got a broken thumb, and
Okay.
so because of the broken thumb, he can't, it's not the same as a broken hand.
Well, he's such a
got
hand fighter. He's such a hand fighter.
Yeah, so I mean, it's part that, and it's part just the Niners run their team like a gang. I mean, it's like a gang. He doesn't have seniority. I mean, the seniority goes to. I mean, Nick Martin is better than some of the guys that are up. He's better than Luke Gifford. He's better than Curtis Robinson, but he's not playing. Why? Because the Niners run their team like a gang. Curtis Robinson was here first. Gifford was here first. Jordan Elliott was here first. Kalia Davis was here first. Kevin Givens was here first. Best? Oh, that be damned. It's you got to have seniority. So CJ West is waiting his turn behind guys that are probably only maybe as good as him, but with less upside. I mean, Kalia Davis is playing well right now, so he needs to play.
Yeah.
Jordan Elliott's playing well right now. He needs to play. But CJ West is better than Kevin Givens. I'll tell you that right now.
I'd like to see him dressed and playing on game day.
It would be nice. I mean,
there's got to be a way to give him, the big club. We've seen it happen. We've seen guys play with broken digits, and that just gets taped up inside of a little, it looks like a freaking boxing glove.
Yeah, so I would go Tavondre Sweat as far as sleepers today. That's the guy, because he would absolutely be a difference maker up front. You would notice it. Teams would what do the Niners have? They have undersized fast linebackers. That's what D. Winters is. That's what Nick Martin is.
Tatum Bethune is.
Bethune. I mean, they've got undersized guys who can run. So what do they need? They need that big defensive tackle that can keep those guys' legs free. Sweat is the dream pick. And if the Titans want to move him, I would absolutely.
Well, by the way, since we're talking about what Lynch might do, sleeper, what are you saying? What's the thing you weren't really
sleeper
about?
In that he's not the need necessarily, Damon. The need, I think, is the pass rush and the running back.
Right. Well, I was going to interpret it a different way, because what we learned within this hour that the New York Jets just pulled a fire alarm changes things a little bit. Sauce Gardner has been traded. For those just joining us, Sauce Gardner of the Jets traded to Indianapolis for a player and 2 first-rounders. Quinnen Williams, if he really were to possibly be dealt, maybe that's happening right now. If you're John Lynch, are you on the phone talking Quinnen Williams at this hour, or are you on the phone with whoever is Mike Greer or Chris Greer's replacement down in Miami? Who the fuck is auditioning for the Miami Dolphins GM job? Call their interim GM. If you're John Lynch, are you on the phone with the Dolphins right now trying to get Chubb, or are you on the phone with the Jets talking about Quinnen Williams?
I think you're on the line with the Titans talking about Arden Key. I was looking at the Joe Tryon-Shawinka Bears-Browns trade. He went.
What's the price?
Yeah, the price was really reasonable. The Bears get a 7th. And Tryon-Shawinka, the Browns get a 6th. So it's exactly the Keon White trade, basically. It's exactly that trade. So it's basically a 6th for Joe Tryon-Shawinka and a 7th. So the price tag on these rushers seems to be somewhat low on the back end guys. And I think the Niners want to make a move, but I don't think they want to move day 1 picks or day 2 picks.
I'll get a 7th for Cam Jordan. Find me better value. Find me better value than a 7th rounder for 7 games of Cam Jordan.
I'm not a Cam Jordan guy myself, because I think he's played his best ball. But
it's behind him. There's Larry. He's not a future move. He doesn't have a future. I'm only addressing the present, but I'm not giving up any of my future to address the present, where you might have to for someone else.
I think the Titans make a lot of sense for the Niners, because of Key, because of Sweat, because of Womack. I think they make a lot of sense. I think the Jets make a lot of sense. So, if I could get Michael Clemens, if I could get Will McDonald, if I could get Jermaine Johnson, and of course, if I could get Quinnen, and of course, if I could get Garrett Wilson. To me, they've got the Jets have some of the best players in football. They're just on the Jets. I don't know. They've been picked. This is what happens when you pick real high. Coach Yak has this one, Damon. We'll just put this up real quick so people can see this. Coach Yak has thrown this trade out. What do you think of this one? He says trade idea. Niners receive Kayvon Thibodeau. Giants receive a 2026 third, Jake Brendel. Who says no? I think, well, I mean, I guess the Giants just lost John Michael Schmitz or whatever their center, but I don't see anybody trading for Jake Brendel.
I don't think that trade goes through. I don't know who says no. I don't know who says yes to that trade, honestly.
Well, the Niners would. A third-round pick and Jake Brendel?
Yeah, it's not happening. Why don't you throw in a Lawrence Taylor jersey and some Pepper Johnson memories, too? Come on.
By the way, Schefter has updated this.
What do we got?
The Colts get Sauce Gardner. The Jets get from the Colts first-round pick next year, the first-round pick in 27, and Adonai Mitchell, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
I mean, you're losing
that's a lot.
Very, very good. I mean, you hope to draft, Sauce Gardner with one of those picks? But that's a big haul. And in a year that's going nowhere fast, I mean, you probably got Woody Johnson already thinking about firing his coach this offseason and drafting. I mean, it's the Jets. It's a revolving door that doesn't just revolve in one direction. It actually goes in many directions, and it'll change direction right in the middle of you walking through the door. So that's why it never comes together. The pieces never end up fitting. The Jets have had zero credibility since the Rex Ryan years, for goodness sakes. Thank God Saleh got out of there. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like as we're getting closer to the deadline, the Bradley Chubb thing seems like it has the most legs. The Dolphins are clearly having a fire sale. They traded Jalen Phillips to the Eagles for a third-round pick. I think the Niners could probably get Bradley Chubb for a fifth.
So
that'd be my guess. He's 29. He missed all of last year with the torn ACL. He hasn't missed a game this season. He's got 4 sacks. He signed through 27. So that was one of the parameters. This was the parameters. The last time I heard John Lynch speak, and John Lynch is kind of a truth teller. He doesn't lie a lot. He's not a good liar. Neither is Shanahan. And Lynch said his 2 parameters were this, Damon. He didn't want to give away next year's draft. He didn't want to trade a lot of draft capital from next year.
Okay? Nor should he. I'm glad. Good.
That's 1. 2, I mean, some people would argue they've fucked up the draft enough at different points where they should trade their picks. So, I mean, whatever. But so they don't want to trade draft capital in 2026. And they don't want to have anybody who's not on the team in 2026. They don't want to trade any draft capital for guys who are free agents to be.
Right.
So
By the way, that's the big hole in my Cam Jordan idea. Cam Jordan is a straight up rental.
And this is why Chubb makes sense, because Chubb is 29 and he's under contract for this year and 2 more years after this year.
Yeah.
And, he's probably going to cost you, maybe a mid-round pick. And he's very proven. You know what I mean? It's not like he's a talent. Like some of these guys are just like, hey, this guy, like Keon White's a talented athlete, but he doesn't have a football card that has a bunch of production on it. Where Bradley Chubb is not just a talented athlete; he has a football card that's chock full with tons of production.
Well, and
so in a lot of ways, Damon, Bradley Chubb fits. He won't cost you a lot. You're not giving away your 26th draft, and you do get a player who's under contract, and it's not just this year, next year. It's this year, next year, and the year after.
Yep.
The more I think about it, I mean, Arden Key would be good, but Arden Key's not as good as Bradley Chubb.
No.
I mean, Bradley Chubb would be nice. Now, would you be willing? Let's just say you're having a discussion with the Dolphins, and you say, "We want Bradley Chubb," and they say, "We want a 4th-round pick," and you say, "How about a 5th?" They're like, "Yeah, no." And then they're like, well, how about this? How about
this? Bidding against? I mean, that's the thing. Who else is in the Bradley Chubb market? We've seen the Dallas Cowboys also. Yeah.
Probably a couple other teams because this guy is a proven guy. I mean, he's a proven guy. But what I was going to say is just what if you said, hey, we'll throw in one of our young safeties and we'll make it a 3rd and one of our young safeties if you throw in Minka. I think I would do that. If I could get a really proven safety. Minkah Fitzpatrick is a great player. The Niners don't even have good players at safety right now. They have prospects who are ascending. But, man, it's a young secondary, Damon. It's a really young secondary. But if you could add a little bit of pass rush up front in Chubb and somebody in that secondary who's got some experience like a Minkah, I think that might be the best move they can make. Is Minkah and Chubb for a third? Yeah, go ahead.
I want to keep Malik Mustafa. We can talk about Jair Brown. Obviously, Siegel can be a part of this trade.
They like Siegel. I mean, you got to remember this.
I do too, but I like Minkah Fitzpatrick more. If you got Minkah Fitzpatrick, you don't need Siegel now.
I mean, if I were them, I would, see if I could move Pinnock because he's the veteran. And then you keep all three of your young safeties. Keep Brown, keep Mustafa, keep Siegel. Move Pinnock.
You got a Dolphins GM who's auditioning for a job. You don't get it if you don't come away with.
Well, that's what the picks are for. But I'd almost rather, I guess if I had to move one of them
Jair?
In this scenario, I'd probably move Jair. Jair. But it would be tough because I do like Jair. I think Jair's a really physical run defender. I just think he's kind of a limited pass defender, and it's a passing league where Siegel's got 4.37 speed. He's a converted corner. I think, he's gotten toasted so far this year, but a lot of young players do. Okay, By
the way, I want to get back to the supers, but Mark says Minkah Fitzpatrick has a knack for interceptions. Yeah. What are those?
Remember those?
Yeah.
All right, we got this one from Steven Sanders. If Lynch doesn't make a move, is he on the hot seat?
No.
I don't think John Lynch is on the hot seat from losing his position with the franchise. But if the 49ers don't, Shanahan ain't going anywhere. So I do think there's a world where Jed comes in and says, John, how about this? I'll give you a raise and make you the president, and let's hire a scout to be the general manager. I could see that. I'm not saying it's going to – I think John would be okay with that if they won a Super Bowl and this was being kicked upstairs post-Super Bowl. I don't think he would be okay with it if it was before they won a Super Bowl. I think he badly wants to be the GM as they win the Super Bowl. But I don't think John Lynch is going anywhere. I think he's a made man with Jed. But if he's ever going anywhere, it's to be the president.
How about this? The job that John Lynch has done as general manager, we can debate the quality of work that he's done. The quality of John Lynch, the employee.
Face of franchise.
Yeah, yes, that is unquestioned. John Lynch is a camera-facing, never embarrassing, Hall of Fame resume, Stanford educated, great jawline, good guy all the way around.
He could be the commissioner of the league.
No doubt about it. I have John Lynch still doing those morning show hits with Murph.
Yeah.
I have John Lynch still talking to NFL Network and going on Rich Eisen's show. I kick him upstairs. I don't dismiss him. It's one of those, we're going to promote you to get out of the way.
Well, and maybe it's an internal thing where no titles really get moved around, but just there's more of a voice for Tariq Ahmad, more of a voice for RJ Gillen, more of a voice for the scouts. I don't know. We don't even know exactly. For all we know, those guys have a huge voice and John has a minimal voice. We don't know. It's a group project, but I would say my short answer, Steven, no, he's not on.
By the way, speaking of new general managers, you see who the new general manager of the Miami Marlins is?
No. Who?
Gabe Kapler.
Oh, God.
Gabe Kapler, baby. Rose tattoos for everybody.
That guy is the biggest ass clown I think I've ever seen. PWS, should we try and trade back for Debo? LOL. Let me think about it. I thought about it. No. So what? Some slow guy with an overinflated opinion of his game, of his self-worth? PWS is Sauce to Indy equivalent of Ramsey to the Rams. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think that the Colts are a piece away from really being that.
Daniel Jones.
The Colts will have a 4-game losing streak. It's going to happen. There's no such thing as Colts started well and the entire season went smoothly. That's never happened, and it's not going to happen today.
Well, here's the thing, Damon. I think people, we build up these names and these labels, and we don't really look at the actual pieces. If you look at the Colts, this is what's going on here. Let me just quickly, we're just a 30-second. I know this is a Niners stream. I know we're all Niner, but let me just show you this, and I think you guys will see what I see.
Oh, you're so off topic, Larry.
Okay, so all these little asides.
I'm out. Unlike, unsubscribe.
That's right.
Not what I was here for.
5,000 people just left. But look at the Colts depth chart. Okay, so this is their team on offense, right? They added Daniel Jones, and I think I'm shocked by the way Daniel Jones is playing. By the way, my guy Riley Leonard is his backup. But what do they got? They got a great running back, one of the best in the league, right? And he's having a great year, and he's running behind a line that's really fantastic. And why is it so good? Quentin Nelson's the best left guard in football, and this guy from Wisconsin, Tanner Bortolini, has stepped in at center, where these two guys are really, really good, right? And then their receivers are just okay. Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, Ashton Doolin, but they added Tyler Warren, and they're throwing it to him a ton. So they may have the best running back going. They may have the best tight end going, or one of the best tight ends going. And Jones has been able to not turn the ball over. And then look who's down here. Look who's their defensive coordinator is. They have Lou Anarumo, who they took away from Cincinnati. And, this is a good this is a good group here. Ballard's a good GM. Steichen's a good coach. Jim Bob Cooter, believe it or not, even though he sounds like somebody from the Dukes of Hazzard, is a good offensive coordinator. Lou Anarumo is a good defensive coordinator. And look what they have on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, you've got DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, Kwity Paye, and Latu, Samson Ebukam, Adetomiwa Adebore, who's from Northwestern, great athlete. Neville Gallimore was a good player in college at Oklahoma. You've got some good players here. It's a pretty good line. Then they signed Jermaine Pratt, who was with Lou Anarumo in the Bengals. He's back now. And then that's a good secondary. I mean, you come at Nick Cross from Maryland, Cam Bynum from Cal, who's fantastic free safety. Now you add Sauce. You have the best nickelback going in Kenny Moore. So this Colts team had a couple of holes, but they also have some of the NFL's best players.
Watch them lose in Atlanta this weekend, go to Kansas City, lose there, come home against Houston and lose there as well. It's just who they are. It's what they do. I would not like it if somebody went through the 49ers schedule and made a big determination of this win counts, this win doesn't, this win counts. But let me tell you that the Colts have wins, very impressive wins over Miami, Tennessee, Las Vegas, Arizona, and then Tennessee already again. They haven't played anybody, really. But
I mean, it's all, but they do have, like, Jonathan Taylor behind that line is a pretty good start, and they got a really good defense.
It is. I just think that the reality of their season with playoff potential teams is coming at Kansas City, again, against Houston. Whenever you play a good defense, you're in for a long day. At Jacksonville, at Seattle, versus San Francisco, Jacksonville again, Houston again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Houston's
6,
not
7.
bad.
There's 8. I'm telling you, they're going to lose 4 of their next 8.
MSQ says, what kind of player package would the Niners have to get in return for you to be like, yeah, I'm willing to give up a second or even a first for that?
Quinnen Williams.
It would have to be like, I don't think I'd give a first for anybody, to be honest. I mean, unless you're talking about, guys who handle the ball or some truly spectacular player. But I think a second. I'd rather trade 2 2s than trade my one. But yeah, it would be like in this trade market, there aren't too many things. I would say if the Jets said, here's Quinnen Williams and Will McDonald, I would probably do it. I'd probably move a high pick. I still don't want to move my 1 because I need that offensive tackle, but I would trade my 2 and my 3 for Quinnen Williams in a package that included Will McDonald, because now you're getting an electric edge piece and you're getting a dominant 2-gap or D-tackle that has to be combo blocked at all times. And I think it would change the whole dynamic of your team. So yeah, I would absolutely. Quinnen Williams is the one guy. I'll give you the other one. Tennessee. If I called Tennessee and they were willing to move Jeffrey Simmons, absolutely, I'm doing it. Or Tavondre Sweat in a big package from Tennessee that maybe included, something more. I'd be interested. Here's the other question: Would the Niners trade any veterans? Will they trade Jair? Will they trade Ayuk? Will they trade JJ? I mean, it sounds like there's been at least some talk of that.
I mean, if they got a call for Brandon Ayuk, they would do that at the speed of light, wouldn't they?
I would think they would. Humdinger says Raiders should trade Max and a first to the Bears for Jake Moody.
Probably not going to get it done, but the Raiders should absolutely trade Max. The Raiders should be in tear it down to the studs 3-year rebuild, day one of that right now. But they don't do it because that would be a good ownership decision, and there is no good owner to make that decision. That is why the Raiders are forever stuck in the mud. It's why the Jets are forever stuck in the mud.
What do you think of this comment? Oh, go ahead. What was your
by the way, as another team that's always kind of been forever stuck in the mud, but then has made the sort of moves to break the cycle of buffoonery was Dallas? The Los Angeles Chargers. And if you played tackle for the Los Angeles Chargers, you've had surgery already this year. Did you see that they just lost Joe Alt to a high ankle? That's their third starting tackle that they've lost in a year.
Well, no, because they lost Slater.
Lost Slater, then they lost someone else, then they moved Alt, and they now lost him too. It's brutal.
This is the second high ankle sprain for Alt, so he's now done for the year. He's just a huge guy, and guys fall into his legs, and what can you say? Pick 4949 says Seattle may be the NFC's best team. Actually, what do you think? Seattle looked great against the Commanders, but and they're definitely playing well. They've got a defense. Leonard Williams, talk about a great addition.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, the trade deadline. They traded for Leonard Williams at the trade deadline, I think a year ago. He's a foundation piece of their team going forward. He might be their best player on defense, and they got him at the trade deadline. So it's like, yeah, every time you get a guy at the trade deadline, it's not like baseball where it's like, almost like 85% of the time the guy's going to be a free agent. It's like, no, Trent Williams was a big trade. He's still here. CMC was a big trade. He's still here. Just because you trade for somebody doesn't mean it's like some Band-Aid short-term fix. It can be a new foundation piece going forward. I mean, when the Niners traded Charles Haley to the Cowboys, he didn't go one and done there. He stayed there and won championships there. So, well, I would say any move you can make to significantly improve your football team, even if it doesn't just perfectly jive with your priority need. Like, for example, if Jacksonville really does want to get rid of Brian Thomas, he's such a great player, I would absolutely try to get him. If Tennessee wants to get rid of Tavondre Sweat, he's such an impactful player, even though I need a defensive end, I would pivot and go that direction. Teams sometimes feel pressure at the trade deadline that they don't feel in the offseason, and sometimes teams make bad decisions and take advantage of them if they do. But I think Seattle is not the best team in the conference.
I think at some point Sam Darnold turns into a pumpkin.
Exactly.
But I will say this. What Seattle did really, really well for their team this year was they said the right goodbye to generate the right, you're more important than you were last year. Because if we really wanted to talk about who the best wide receivers in football are, Jackson Smith and Jigba is not far from Jamar Chase. He is having a year. I mean,
and now he's got Rashid Shaheed on the other end.
Yeah.
And getting rid of Lockett was a great move. He was clearly done. Getting rid of Metcalf was a great deal.
By the way, what is Cooper Kupp doing for them? Where is he statistically in his season?
He's hurt, I think.
I just got curious there.
He's there. I mean, he's there. He's running around. He's not doing tons. I think he's dinged up with a minor injury right now. I just played him in fantasy a couple weeks ago. He didn't do much in that game.
The biggest problem that the 49ers have is their own injuries and the fact that they've caught zero breaks. They've been able to create zero distance between them and the three other teams that mean something in their own division. Everybody's sitting at 6-2. Seattle's got to feel great about that. Obviously, the Rams this week, it's the biggest game of the year until we see what the Week 18 game looks like against Seattle, which could qualify as the biggest game of the year or a meaningless game. We don't know yet. Huge game coming up on Sunday, Larry. I mean, it is.
Sammy's adamant that Mac Jones can't beat the Rams twice. We'll see. I mean, I don't know who's going to win this game. I think the Rams are going to play real tough, but the 49ers, Shanahan has a lot of success against McVay. So, the Rams are really good, but the Niners, I think, might be a little bit tougher team. I mean, that last Rams game, the Rams played horribly, and the Niners played it great. Let's hit a couple more of these supers. We got that one. We got this one. Joseph Ernberg in the house. Go get Jermaine Johnson, McDonald, and Breece Hall. Yeah, I mean, any kind of a big deal with the Jets. I mean, I'd love to get Breece Hall. Oh my God, Breece Hall, 4.3 speed. You don't need Breece Hall. I mean, this team, that would be a luxury. Double B Studio, doesn't matter who the Niners get. Kyle won't play him. Yes.
Well, I mean, look, there is an element of truth to that. I mean, it's not
really. I mean, name me the guy that the 49ers have ever traded for that Kyle Shanahan didn't play.
Brian Robinson Jr.
He's not. There's this love affair with Christian that's off the charts. But is it that they're not playing him, or is that they're slowly working him in?
I hope.
I'll say this though. I mean, that's a good answer because 32 touches for CMC and 5 for Brian Robinson. I mean, come on, Kyle. I mean, you gotta finish with somebody. I mean, if you're not going to trust Brian Robinson to run the ball at the end of games, what exactly are you looking for at the end of
DeMarcus
games?
Robinson traded for him.
Did they trade for him? No, they signed him.
Signed him, whatever. Look,
he's not bad though. He's not bad. He's going to be better. DeMarcus Robinson, I guarantee you, before it's all said and done, is going to make an impact.
I hope
he
so.
was too good this summer to just do nothing all year.
You would think.
Double B Studio. Robinson is not the problem. It's Kyle. Gosh, now we got people who want to get rid of Kyle. Sorry, Larry. Kyle is going to use the Bentley off-road. Yeah, exactly. John Kimball says, Larry, you complained several times this year the 49ers need developmental players and make mistakes. And then you said trade Garendo. This is they've demonstrated they don't believe in Garendo.
Yeah, they're not developing him.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no development happening.
Right now, he's a hollow roster spot for a guy who might as well be me or Damon, because if Kyle looked down the bench and he saw me or Damon, he would say, I'm not putting that guy in. And that's exactly what he says when he looks at Garendo. He's like, I ain't putting that guy in because I don't trust that guy. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to fumble, this and that. So stop protecting Lynch in the personnel department and move this guy down the road. Now, he does have talent. He's the biggest, fastest, most athletic guy on the field. And I'm telling you, he's had some moments in training camp where you're like, oh, my God, who's that guy? So there's got to be some personnel guy who's going to dream big on his upside. All I'm saying is you're the 49ers. You need you can't run McCaffrey 25 extra carries for shits and giggles. You gotta have a plan, and it's got to make sense. And when you're up 10 against a team like the New York Giants with 4 minutes left, you can lose Christian McCaffrey for the season on any carry. They just lost Bryce Huff a couple weeks ago on like the second to last play of the game. It can happen. Just because he's late fourth quarter doesn't mean you can't get hurt. Take him off. Take those carries off of his plate. That's all I'm saying. Do it any way you got to do it.
No
I'm
low
not saying you got to trade
carries
for somebody. Yeah.
No low leverage carries. None.
No 2 score. If you're up by 2 scores and you get to the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter, Christian McCaffrey, somebody steal his helmet. Take his helmet. Don't give it to him. Don't let him out there. And if Shanahan tries to put him out there, tackle him. Don't put him out there. If you lose McCaffrey, your season's cooked. You cannot do that.
That is the one. There is no wiggle room left on that.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, what I've argued is not that the Niners need developmental players; it's that they need good young players, and that they shouldn't choose veterans over good young players at in training camp. So, like, they got rid of
Larry
with Isaiah Oliver.
Larry, breaking news. Tom Pelissero. Let me make sure I got this one right. This is definitely Tom Pelissero.
Here we go.
Yes.
Put it on the screen.
The Jets are trading 3-time Pro Bowl defensive lineman Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys, sources tell the insiders. New York gets a 2026 first-round pick and more for Williams, who gets a fresh start at the age of 27.
Wow. So the Cowboys, who were talking big, and sure enough, they're getting Quinnen, but they're moving their number one.
Let me go ahead.
Would you have, if you were the Niners, would you have moved your number one for Quinnen? They need an offensive tackle.
No,
bad.
No, I would not have moved my number one for Quinnen, but now
good.
I am definitely walking away from this trade deadline with Bradley Chubb. Right.
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely walking. If I were after the Jets just made that trade for Quinnen, I would bum rush them for like Michael Clemens and Jermaine Johnson see if I could do it for a 5th round pick, because you need multiples and you need guys that can play defensive end in your scheme. Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens would absolutely help the 49ers.
By the way,
maybe you could get them for less because they just got so many picks from Dallas or got so much good draft capital. That's huge for Dallas.
Let me put Jerry Jones in on the witness stand here. So you trade Micah Parsons to add Quinnen Williams. Make it make sense.
They didn't like Micah Parsons. I mean, Micah Parsons had a bad reputation coming out of Penn State. He was involved in some really ugly stuff.
Good
at
player.
Penn State.
Good player. I don't give a shit about his Penn State. I don't care. As a Dallas Cowboy, the guy's a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but it's easy to say you don't care about a guy with questionable character when you don't have to be around him. When you are around somebody with questionable character, it becomes easier to get rid of that person, which is why the Niners moved Charles Haley, because he was a questionable character while he was with the 49ers. And they're like, let's get this guy the fuck out of here. And you know what? They shouldn't have traded him to Dallas, but they should have traded him. And I think the same thing's with Parsons. I think Parsons is a bad guy at his core. And if you don't believe me, go do your own research and figure out what he did at Penn State. And then you come back and tell me he's a good guy. He's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. And he's always been a bad guy. And he's a great football player.
Find me a team that cares less about that than the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, it's intermittent, right? They cared a lot about, they didn't care about, personality when they drafted Michael Irvin. They're like, hey, we don't care. He's the playmaker. But then they passed on Randy Moss for Greg Ellis, and Jerry Jones's quote was, Greg Ellis is the kind of guy I could use to babysit my kids. It's like, yeah, well, that's all he can do because he can't play defensive end, and you just passed on Randy Moss. So, yes, they've got the Cowboys throughout history have demonstrated selective morality. I think there's no question. That's a big get. Now, what do you think? Does that make Dallas? What does that do to Dallas?
So they're terrible against the run right now.
They drafted Mozzie Smith and they quit on him, the first rounder.
Well, and that's another reason why I just think that the draft picks of C.J. West and Alfred Collins, and I'm not saying either of those guys is Quinnen Williams, but I just think they've already sort of made their choices there, and they need defensive end help more than they need defensive tackle help right now.
They need volume too.
The way they're built.
I mean, I think more than anything, I know the one name guy is always, not the one name, but the big name guy is always coveted. Oh, get Hendrickson, get this guy, get that. The Niners this year don't need the one guy. They need volume. They need 2 guys from somebody. They either need 2 guys from Miami, 2 guys from Tennessee, 2 guys from the Jets. They need a couple of guys.
Well, by the way, let's remember here that the Cowboys already added Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson before we even started this live stream today, Larry. So,
right,
couple of moves for the Cowboys. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Trent Baalke, Chico Travels Vlog, POV says, bring back me. Always drafting running backs and offensive linemen, Larry.
I wrote a name down.
I said A.J. Jenkins. I wrote it down. They've told me it's only cool if the guy can play.
It really, I tell you, man, it really is like somebody watched Trent Baalke and came up with that Kevin Costner draft day movie from what you and I saw in the Niners meeting room that day. The infamous AJ Jenkins. I wrote a name down. Oh,
if there's one moment of the Harbaugh Baalke era that I wish I had back, it was when I asked Jim Harbaugh in the war room with you sitting right next to me. Because I said to you, I said, Damon, Jim Harbaugh has been biting off Lowell Cohn's head every presser all year. I'm not having him bite off my head. So I got to figure out what question to ask this guy that it's not going to make him, start going crazy. So I came up with the most basic question. Jim, you just drafted AJ Jenkins. Tell Damon and I what you like about him. Damon, you would have swore I had asked him the hardest question of all time. He's like, yeah.
Have you got any naked pictures of your wife you'd like to show me right now?
Yeah. And he goes into this long, really painful, 30-second saying absolutely nothing.
It was the most generic explanation.
He's a guy, and he's a guy that's, he's got some speed, and he played in a good conference. And that was literally it. It was he said nothing. At the end of that, I think I said to you when we went to the commercial, I go, I don't even think Harbaugh has seen this guy. I don't think Harbaugh's even seen AJ Jenkins play because he had nothing, Damon, to say about him, and they just took him in the first round. That was a Baalke special if I've ever seen it.
Well,
and then we found out that he wrote his name in an envelope.
Right. And I remember saying to Trent, I watch an awful lot of Big Ten football. More specifically, I watch an awful lot of bad Big Ten football because of this right here where I went. And I've never even seen AJ Jenkins in a discussion of who might be good in the Big Ten. Why? Why AJ Jenkins? It feels like a bit of a reach considering no one covering the draft had ever even heard of him in any round. You cannot find his name mocked in any round.
Right.
He is undraftable. Considering
he had a do you remember what he said too? Do you remember what he said to you? He started talking about the length of the guy's fingers.
Very long fingers.
He's got very long fingers, Damon. He's got the kind of fingers that you don't see a lot. They're rare finger length. And I was sitting there going, oh my God, you just drafted a freaking guy who can't play dead because he's got long fingers?
And
what's next?
The two of us are in there almost laughing at Jim Harbaugh and Trent Baalke to the point where Bob Sargent, who's a good friend of ours, we love Bob Sargent got mad at us and yelled at us on the way out of the fucking building saying, you don't come into our house and make fun of us like that. You're hosting the damn show. We brought you in here. I'm like, you're the ones who drafted AJ fucking Jenkins, Bob, not me.
Yeah, don't blame us for that pick. That's funny how and it's hilarious too. It's I'll get this one. I'll get too. I'll get this a lot. Krug, why do you got to be so negative? And then after the guy's a total bust, it's oh, now I get it. Now I understand. Anthony Catania's in the house. He is the owner of Sharp Corners Sports Cards and Collectibles. Check him out, 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California, right there along the Monterey Peninsula. And Anthony's got a special for KMBR for Krug Show and Plus fans. All you have to do, if you call them up at 831-521-5264, is say that you know Damon or I. That's it. Say, hey, Anthony, I know Damon Bruce. Hey, Anthony, I know Larry Krueger. That's it. Anything you order from Sharp Corners between now and the first of the year, if you say Larry Krueger or Damon Bruce, is free shipping. He will ship it to you anywhere in the continental U.S. for free. Anthony is paying the shipping. And so once again, give him a call, 831-521-5264. Sports collectibles are some of the best Christmas gifts to give if
you're in Alaska or Hawaii, you must fuck off. No. Continental United States only.
No, but Anthony's going to pay the shipping, period, between now and the end of the year. If you tell him that you know Damon or I, or that you're a fan of either show. That's all it takes. And
Thank
you will
you,
get
Anthony.
free shipping courtesy of Anthony Catania at Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're in Monterey, but if you order from anywhere, he'll ship it to you for free. All right, here we go. We got another one here behind Anthony from Josh. He says, I disagree. I don't think they make any trades. I don't think they don't have any draft picks after the 4th round. They aren't trading a 4th for Arden Key. The draft picks that the 49ers have right now are a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, 4 picks in the 4th. One of them's a conditional that could be a 5th or a 4th and could go. And then they have a 7th. They picked up that 7th by trading a 6th and Keon White. So they have New England's 7th. So they do have a 7th. And then there's also the 27 draft. So,
right.
And there's also players. And if you're looking at some of these picks and some of these trades, yeah, Quinnen Williams fetched a 1. Sauce Gardner fetched 2 1s. But the vast majority of these trades are low-end trades for low prices. So I think a deal's out there to be made for sure.
Look at it this way. You don't have to overextend yourself to add Arden Key.
Right. Being K says, is this season over if no trade?
No.
I don't think the season is over, but I think the 49ers go from having a real shot to just a puncher's chance. Because they can't move the quarterback off the spot, and they've got a really young secondary. So it's a bad combination, right? You gotta be able to move the quarterback and make good plays in the secondary. And they don't have the ability to move the quarterback, and they got a lot of young secondary.
Right.
Players,
Unless you have a final handful of games of the season, Legion of Boom level turnaround from the safety net. But here's the thing, Larry.
It's not over, but it's not. Need help.
Think the Niners are just going to be in bend don't break defense from here to the end of the year. That playoffs included.
They got to score points, Damon. They got to score 28
get
points
off the field on 3rd down. That's it. They got to get lucky to make the play that gets them off the field on 3rd and long 3 times a goddamn game, and they got to be somewhere around 24, 28 points per day. Good to see them over 30 in New York. But I don't think any game comes in easy for the Niners for the rest of the year.
Well, I agree. I mean, it's going to be a challenge. The whole thing's going to be a challenge. DeBig says, why trade? Team isn't going anywhere due to their injuries.
You just can't think like that if you're them.
First of all, you're in a league where the Buffalo Bills just lost Ed Oliver last week, and the Green Bay Packers just lost their Pro Bowl tight end, Tucker Kraft, last week. And it's a war of attrition, and depth is going to matter, obviously. But also beyond that, because the trade season is not just about this year. They traded for Trent Williams years ago. He's still here. They traded for Christian McCaffrey in a year where they didn't win the Super Bowl. And he's still here. So, believe me, Dallas Cowboys are going to have Quinnen Williams. He is going to be manning that defense for years to come. So just because you trade for somebody at the deadline doesn't mean that you're in go for it mode and you're not caring about your future. I would say continue to build. That's all I would do. That's why I would be interested in Tavondre Sweat. That's why I'd be interested in Quinnen Williams, because I think it's not just about this year. It's about continuing to build.
If you can add proven young talent under contract and controllable, there's a time to do it. And I also think a little bit of the equation is how good are we at drafting? It's a little bit of a mixed bag, where a guy like Quinnen Williams, there's no mixed bag on who he is in this league right now.
I mean, it's every draft pick. I think what you're saying is that every draft pick has a failure rate to it, where Quinnen Williams is not going to fail.
Right. The only thing you got to worry about him is injury.
Yeah, or age. I mean, you trade for an old guy. But like when the Niners traded for Christian McCaffrey, were they really taking a risk? No, the team that was taking the risk was the team that was getting the picks, because they were trying to say, well, what if we turn those picks into this and that and this and that? The Niners were getting Christian McCaffrey. When the Niners got Trent Williams for a 2nd and a 5th or whatever it was, who was taking the risk? Well, were the Niners? They were getting the for sure thing. So when you trade for the veteran, I mean, Les Snead did this. He hit, he missed. He hit, he missed. He hit, he missed. Kroenke wanted to win the Super Bowl. The Rams were like, we're never going to win the Super Bowl if we keep hitting and missing and hitting and missing. So they got rid of Goff, went with Stafford, and said, we'll trade for Ramsey. And they surrounded Donald and Ramsey and Stafford with some great players. The top end of their roster was elite, and they won one. And then, of course, they had to tear it all down. But, the 49ers, if the Niners can't draft efficient enough or consistent enough to win a championship, then maybe it does make sense, while they've got the rest of the roster assembled, to not take a risk in the first round and to just trade that pick for a player that is going to come in and make an impact. So
let me just put it right on the table for you right now, Larry. You get to make the decision. You need to make it in the next 10 seconds. 2 firsts for Trey Hendrickson Jr. You doing it?
No.
Me neither.
No.
I'm not
doing that. Not doing that.
Here's the thing.
I don't think there's too many guys that are
never gotten hurt. Had Fred Warner not gotten hurt, that's a maybe, but we're not there.
Yeah, I'm a draft guy, so I'm not big on that. But I'm not, so I don't like the idea of trading picks for veterans at all. I really don't like that idea. But there are times to do it and times not to. And if you're really struggling to pick players and you're wasting high picks. Yeah, if you're a GM that's wasting high picks, you should probably either be fired or you probably should try something else. Well, Niner Mafia's his coach was saying the other night, Brock will not play again this season. Well, I mean, Shanahan made it perfectly clear. When Brock's ready to come back, he's going to come back. I hear what coach is saying, though, and I don't think there's anything crazy about that. My plan would be let him continue to rest. And then at the bye week, throw him back out there, for the last 4 games. But let's just say there's going to be some ramp up to do that, right? He's going to have show in practice and run all the first team reps and play well in practice. He's already had a setback in their on-field workout before the Falcons game that set him back further. So I don't think it's unreasonable to think that he could, in the ramp up, get another setback that would set him back further, and the Niners could just say, hey, you know what? We've tried, but let's just tuck tail and think of 26. And I know that would be very, very painful for Brock and very, very painful for the Niners and very, very painful for the fans. But it's a whole lot less painful when Mac Jones is basically playing the way he's playing, which is, I don't think he's quite as good as Brock, but he's definitely an NFL starting quarterback. He's way, 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 way better than I had people who argued with me that last summer when I said Mac Jones is worlds better than Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs. And people are like, no, he's not. I'm like, what? No, he's not? Really? I haven't had anybody argue against that in the last 4 or 5 weeks.
By the way, not to get off our supers here, but Adam Schefter, just sort of, here, let me share this, because this is the old, let's make a, wait, let me share this page instead. Here's Adam Schefter on what the Jets just did. This is something that the Raiders never do. This is what the Jets just added today.
The Jets. Okay, so for those who can't see this,
okay, so the Jets have 2 first-round picks because they've traded Quinnen Williams and Sauce Gardner today. So 2 first-rounders next year in 2026. They've got their own first-rounder. They've got Indianapolis's first-rounder. They've got their second-rounder. They've got Dallas's second-rounder. They have their own Dallas's and Indianapolis's first-round picks. So 2 firsts, 2 seconds in 2026 are now on the Jets draft board, with 3 first-rounders guaranteed in 2027. That means that they can move all over the board wherever they have to go for whoever they identify as the future of the New York Jets at any position. The Jets have a staggering, like almost Oklahoma City Thunder level of draft capital now to deal with. So that's why they did that.
Thank you for showing that, because, not only because this wasn't what we reported earlier. We reported a first next year. It's actually a first in 2 years, 2 years from now, from Dallas. So Dallas gives not their 26 first, they give their 26 second, and they give their 27 first. whatever. It doesn't make that much difference. But for the Niners, as far as the Niners are concerned, this shows one thing, and one thing very clearly. The Jets are in a full-blown rebuild, right? Full-blown rebuild. So they are the team, and they've committed to it, right? They've committed to it. When you're moving Sauce and Quinnen, you're committed to it. When you're moving Sauce and Quinnen, that's getting the headlines. So if I was Lynch, man, I would call them and just absolutely just park myself right on their line and just say, who can we get? Who can we get? I want Will McDonald IV. I want Jermaine Johnson. I want Michael Clemens. I want some combination. I want two of those three guys. I wouldn't mind Quinnen Williams' brother, Quincy. What are you willing to do, Jets? Who are you willing to move? And then, because, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, since those guys fetch so much, they're committed to this rebuild. Now it's like these other guys, if they get extra picks, it's like it just adds to their rebuild. And are they going to be really picky if it's a fifth or a fourth or this or that? I that's what I would do. I would go aggressively at them and say, hey, give me Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens. Give me Will McDonald and Michael Clemens. Give me some combination of those three guys, because the Niners need two of them, and they have depth and are obviously in a rebuild mode. What do you think? I mean, that's the route I'd go. I'd definitely pepper the Jets. The Jets and the Titans and the Bengals would be the three teams. If I was Lynch, I would just be all over. I mean, what time is it right now? It's let's see.
It's 11:28 West Coast.
11:28 West Coast. So we got
90 minutes.
Basically 90 minutes, 92 minutes.
So you know what I'm doing? If I'm the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm calling the Jets about Breece Hall right now.
Breece Hall. How about Garrett Wilson? How about a major trade involving Ayuk's going to get healthy eventually? How about Ayuk and some picks and Garendo and I mean, how about Ayuk, Garendo, and 2 2s for Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and a couple other defensive ends? I mean, something like that. I would move some day 2 picks if I could get a Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is a spectacular receiver. Like, the Niners have good receivers. They don't have a Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's awesome. I would definitely try to get Garrett Wilson if I could get him. Who do you want? You want JJ? Done. You want Pearsall? Done. You want Ayuk? Done. Who exactly? What receiver do I need to throw?
No, they should trade for Justin Fields. That way, Kyle Shanahan can coach not only every quarterback he might have drafted, but did draft and thought about drafting. Let's get them all through here.
I love this one too. Thrifty Sparks. Jennings straight up for Garrett Wilson. Go get Chubb and Thibodeau and see what Miami wants. Get Minka.
Sure, do it all.
Do it all. Do it all. Could you imagine if the Jets traded Garrett Wilson straight up for Jawan Jennings? I mean, Jesus, that would just be amazing. Let's go back to our supers because we lost track.
Don't we?
We got a bunch today, and thanks to everybody, by the way. Okay, we got that one. Let me just get right to the list.
By the way, I think, Larry, we're hosting the biggest sports talk show in the Bay Area right now. We've got 6,200 people, 6,200 people watching across all the platforms that you and I are streaming on right now, and our friend Sam Batesh, who joined us for like the first 90 minutes of today's show. So thanks to everyone for being here. Please hit like and subscribe. Hey, I'm trying to get to 50,000 by the bye week, Larry. I need that Kruger army to lean in and just get me to 50,000. Come on.
Everybody help Damon get to 50,000 subs. Humdinger says Raiders should trade Max and a first to the Bears for Jake Moody. Okay, I think we got that.
We already did that.
Wasn't Seattle maybe the best? Okay, we got that. Did we get this one? Go get Jermaine McDonald. Yes, we got that. Did we get this one? Doesn't matter who the Niners get. Kyle won't play them. Let's see. Wait a second.
We got it. We got 3 in a row from double.
We got that.
We got that.
Do we get this one?
We got that.
John, Larry. Oh, yeah, I got that.
Yeah, got that.
Okay. Do we get this one? Bring back. Yes. We got Anthony.
I think we left off at Anthony Catania.
Josh, I disagree. I don't think they make any trades. They don't have any draft picks after the 4th round. They aren't trading a 4th for Arden Key.
I think that's
they have a 7th. They have a 7th, and also 27 picks. I mean, if you're seeing here, I mean, you just saw there the deal that Damon just showed you. 27 picks, Cat.
You're 6-3. Regardless, all the problems that you got, you're still 6-3 too. So that's why.
Ayuk and a first and a second round pick for Mad Max. Did we get that?
The Mark Davis will never do that.
G-Code Travels Vlog POV. Thoughts on the Giants' new skipper, legit or filler hire?
Don't know.
I would say I'm skeptical.
Yeah, how about this? The Dodgers are the Dodgers. The Giants just got a guy who's never been in a major league ballpark to beat the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I mean,
all I can tell you.
Guess what? If Damon and I were rival baseball teams, and he spent $2 on his payroll, and I spent $1 on my payroll, who do you think would have the better team? He would. That's what's going on with the Dodgers and the Giants. The Giants are spending $175 million, which sounds like a lot, but the Dodgers are spending $350, which sounds like double. And that's why they're quite a bit better. That's one of the reasons. Not the only reason.
I can tell you, this is one of those. So Buster Posey is either one of the most forward-thinking, smartest guys in the room there has ever been in baseball, or he gets fired on this decision alone. To me, he
owns the team. He owns a part. He's got a part of the ownership, so he's not getting fired. Probably.
Well, I would just say, but this should be his Waterloo. Every single thing this is the biggest decision he's ever going to make for this team outside of the Devers trade. I think the Devers trade is going to maybe work out. If this doesn't work out,
the Devers trade's a great trade.
Yeah, I like it. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating when, it's like you need players and instead you feel like you get some sideshow Bob manager. It's like, I don't need a sideshow Bob manager with, flow and at the end of the day, what's Tony Vitello really good at? He's really good at schmoozing the parents of Southeastern baseball stars. Okay, that's a totally different job than motivating Devers and Matos and Chapman. It's a totally different gig. So it's like to say anybody who sits there and goes, "Oh yeah, he's going to be great." It's like that's based on absolutely jack shit. It's based on nothing.
I'm going to need more. I'm going to need more than aura to get excited about this. I've been told he's got great aura. Oh, God.
Great.
Good.
I need aura who can hit 3, 4, and 5 in my lineup. All right. Dr. Rockman says Reed signs.
You know what I need? Aura. I need a righty or a left-handed power hitter. That's the aura that I need.
Why not Christian Wilkins? Christian Wilkins grabbed a guy in his and he's not coming back. We got a chicken hawk in the hen house. That's all you need to know. If the players don't want you in the room, you're not going to be in the room. And it's not about his play. It's about his personality. And he's probably never coming back. NBA Elias, any unsigned sleeper free agents out there that can help the 49ers like Eddie Pinheiro has? Well, they're not. First of all, there's not, I wouldn't say unsigned. But if the Niners do go through this trade deadline and add nobody, the only avenue they will have to add anybody at that point will be to poach people off of other teams' practice squads. The two guys that I like the most at defensive end on other teams' practice squads, one was Cleve Farrell, and they got him a few weeks ago when he was on the Chargers practice squad. But Tampa's got Mo Kamara from Colorado State, and the Ravens have K'Mon Rucker from North Carolina. They're both really good edge rushers. They're both on the practice squad. I would definitely try to pluck those guys if they can't get help because they got to improve their rush. You can't just sit here and go, well, we'll just lean on Robert Beal. You're not going to be able to do that. We got this one. Okay, we got that one. This one from Sprocking. He says, so sick of these sorry ass crybaby fans. No wonder people call us the whiners. Fans are fans, Sprocking. You know what? You just got to take the good and the bad.
Yeah. I mean, every single fan base has a level of this, but there is a vocal minority of annoying Niner fans that
well, really you got to remember this. Niner fans, the annoying Niner fan is not, it's basically, it's a young fan who has never experienced the Super Bowl, but has heard so much about it. And he's just getting tired of not getting his Super Bowl. And it's like you can listen to guys like me and say, it was great, it was great, it was great. Eventually, you want to experience it for yourself. So now some of those people who maybe came aboard in the Harbaugh era have seen the Niners go 0 for 3 in the Super Bowl, and they're fucking tired of it. And they want to see them climb to the top of the mountain, and they don't want to hear any bullshit excuses. Sorry for the language, but there it is. James Foster says Dallas still has 3 first-round picks the next 2 years. Yeah, we'll see what they do with them if they draft Mozzie Smith. Humdinger says Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. Niners blew it.
I don't think so.
I mean, the Niners didn't want to trade. I mean, would the Niners have traded a number 1 pick for Quinnen Williams? They wouldn't. Not next year, because they would have to devote that to an offensive tackle. You can't sit here and over here beat up the Niners and say their offensive line stinks, they don't invest in it, and then get mad at them for not trading their next year's number 1 for Quinnen. Right? You got to have a tackle. An offensive tackle has to be their first round pick in 26. Ouch, my hamstring. Everyone expects a big trade, but knowing Lynch, they will go all in on a second stringer that isn't being used properly.
By the way, that's an outstanding Niner fan avatar name. Ouch, my hamstring. That sums up the whole year.
Chucko _Niner915. Jets got 2 firsts for their cornerback. Now a first for Big Q. Yeah, the Jets are rebuilding, which is why you should call them and say, hey, you're already in a rebuild mode. How about take 3 or 4 of our picks over the next 2 drafts and give us what we need, which is, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Garrett Wilson would be amazing. MSQ says Micah for Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, and a first. Thoughts? Yeah, so basically they got from Micah a first-round pick that they then and they got Kenny Clark. And they turned around and turned it into Quinnen Williams. We'll see. I mean, Dallas is it's Jerry and his kid, and they have some other personnel people. But
by the way, the Jets are getting Mozzie Smith.
They are getting Mozzie Smith. Dallas hates Mozzie Smith. He was a bust. He looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. He was literally the number 1 guy on the Bruce Feldman freaks list, and he cannot play dead. And they drafted this guy, and it was like I said on draft day, I'm like, this is the biggest bust of the entire draft. They took this guy who looks like a monster and can't play dead. Now the Jets are taking him. I mean, that's just so Jets. Why would you want some guy who can't play? MSQ, Sauce and Quinnen Williams for 3 first-round picks. And AM, thoughts? Yeah, I mean, it's the Jets are in rebuild mode, which is why you got to go call them and see if you can get them to give you Jermaine Johnson or Will McDonald. I give Michael Clemens.
I give the Colts credit for swinging such a big stick for Sauce Gardner. I didn't think they were going to do that. I thought that they were going to kind of
Ballard's a good GM.
Themselves as a little bit of ahead of schedule with all this early success. The fact that
they're not, Damon, they're not. The GM's going to get fired if the GM's been there. He was there with Luck. So when Luck retired,
Ballard isn't that respected in Indianapolis. They've been trying to run him out of town for years now.
I know, but he's one of the best GMs going inside personnel circles. He's thought of as a really, really good GM, and he's had some bad breaks. I mean, Luck retired suddenly out of nowhere. I mean, so they've had some bad mistakes at quarterback, but I mean, they got the Daniel Jones thing right, it seems, and now they're like, hey, we got a good team. It's down year for the league. Mahomes looks beatable. Buffalo just lost Ed Oliver. Let's go for it. I think Indy's smart to take this opportunity. I mean, when it's your time, you got to go. You got to sense urgency, and you got to go.
Well, and look, even if it goes wrong, it won't be Sauce Gardner's fault. Like, that guy's a player. You can put him on your defense, and for the next 3 years, you don't even think about your corner. He's 1/3 of the field is covered right there by Sauce.
I mean, you have a really good defense, and you just added a true number 1 corner. So I bet you have a really good defense. It just got better. Terrence MT says Niners have 0 offensive speed, so it only makes sense to keep Garendo on the bench. LOL. Yeah, I mean, what about Jordan Watkins? Jordan Watkins runs 4.37. He's been healthy for 3 weeks, and they've thrown him 1 fucking pass. I mean, seriously, they run their team like it's a gang. You know, it's like JJ's got seniority. This guy's got seniority. That guy's got seniority. This guy's a made man. That guy's a made man. Hey, guys, how about this? Let's just play the best players. whether they're rookies, second year, first year, third year, 8th year, 10th year. How about just play the best players and not have the street gang mentality? Barry Ford, how about them Hoosiers? My Memphis Tigers are number 22. Dude, Indiana is absolutely stacked. And not only that, bet them every week. I don't know what their spread is, what their number is against the spread, but they just keep coming. They keep scoring. They can score on offense. They can score on defense. They're good on special teams. They are a juggernaut. I don't know that anybody in college football, I'm an A&M fan. I don't believe A&M can beat them. I don't think any team that I've seen, I don't think the Buckeyes can beat them. I don't think anybody can beat Indiana this year. I think Indiana's going to win it all.
Based on, well, all right, let's just calm down.
Dude, have you seen them?
Every week.
They're amazing this year.
It's unbelievable. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get used to it. I do want to say this. I'm not here to prognosticate the national championship coming to Bloomington this year, but I am here to tell you right now that based on the work that has happened and the winning percentage since you've arrived, based on the historic winning percentage of the school, Curt Cignetti, as of right now, is the second greatest head coach in the history of Indiana University. Only Bob Knight is bigger.
I thought you were going to say Lee Corso or something.
Curt Cignetti, and then Jerry Yeagley is one of the single greatest soccer coaches of all time. I don't even give a shit about soccer.
What?
Jerry Yeagley was a legendary soccer coach. Indiana's got one of the best soccer programs in college football or college soccer history. And the swimming program, Doc Councilman, legend.
All right. Now people are leaving the chat.
No. But now Curt Cignetti is in the top 5, I think, coaching jobs of all time. What he's done at Indiana is the equivalent of walking on water. Have you ever seen a man walk on water? I've never seen that before. That would really get Cignetti's job in Bloomington has not even been close to covered appropriately. What he has done is the equivalent of walking down from Mount Sinai with the brand new 10 Commandments.
They're so rugged. They're so rugged. They're so tough.
Everything about him too. Cignetti, everything about, you want to talk about aura? Mr. Ain't fucking around. Oh, he's the best.
Where was he before here?
He was at James Madison.
Oh, okay. Well, they turned them around.
Yes.
He majorly turned them around. Where was he before that?
Indiana, Pennsylvania.
So this guy's just on the scene, just kicking ass.
I
wonder where he's going next.
He was a part of the Kirby. He's not going anywhere. We just signed him to an 8-year.
I know, but I mean, if he keeps dominating like this, somebody bigger than Indiana football. Indiana football is not the biggest thing.
But here's the thing: everything that you ever knew about tradition, there is no difference between LSU and Indiana anymore.
Well, I was just on LSU's campus, and let me just tell you, there is a huge difference between what they do for their football and what you guys do for your football, as far as facilities,
we
money,
smoke them, but here's the
attention.
thing. That doesn't matter anymore. That doesn't matter anymore.
But I'm just saying,
to kids, if you cut the check to the kid and offer them snaps in a major conference, you're playing with everybody. Indiana has Mark Cuban billionaire money, Eli Lilly money. It's serious. There is no larger alumni.
How much longer is he there before he gets taken away?
He retires in Bloomington. He's never going.
Oh my God.
He retires in Bloomington. He's too old to want to go anywhere. He's finally found it.
How old is he? He looks like about 60.
Cignetti's in his 60s. He's an older coach. He's not going anywhere. He's happy. Do you know how much $11 million a year? You know how far that goes in Indiana?
I know, but Brian Kelly just got dumped from LSU and got a $50 million buyout.
He's not going anywhere, man. He's not going. Not going anywhere.
Dame's a big IU fan. He's hoping. MSQ says correction. Sauce and Quinnen Williams for 3 firsts, 1 second, and Adonai Mitchell. Yeah, I think he said AM before. Josh Dowling in the house. He said they only have a 7 if White doesn't play 7 games. Oh, I got you.
That's the conditional on Keon White.
Right. Then believe me, if you're talking about a 7th round pick, you could probably move a 27th, 7th. The Dunn 98 says, with how many times they missed the 1st and 2nd round, why not take a swing? I sent some picks to the Jets. Come on, Lynch. They need that offensive tackle. They can't get that offensive tackle outside the first round. They know it. This is why they're not going to move it.
They should have traded all of their picks last year to move up for Armand Membu. It's the only thing I talked about. Seriously, the only thing I talked about all offseason. I'm the asshole who's a broken record. And this guy
should have listened to Damon. Damon wanted Keenan Allen and Membu. Wall of means to stay humble. Drops a 10 spot. We are 5 years too late in winning a Super Bowl. We are 6-3. We are 6-3. Kansas might not be in there, and NFC is wide open. 49ers do not make good first-round picks anyways, so why not make a trade? Yeah, I mean, that is the argument. The argument is, I mean, do I need to type in 49er draft history and read that pathetic list to you again? Dante Pettis, second round. Drake Jackson, second round. Jalen Hurd, third round. I mean, you've wasted so many picks in the, high picks. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not adverse to trading, especially, I mean, the guy that, okay, so Quinnen went, right? So he's gone. Sauce went, so he's gone. Tavondre Sweat, in some ways, I think would be better to get for the Niners. Why? Because he is 360 pounds and he is a monster in the middle. And the 49ers have young, fast linebackers, and they have a guy inside that they really like in the future in Mikel. But he needs to play next to a big body. And this is the ultimate. To me, Tavondre Sweat would be such a great get for the 49ers. That's the guy that I would try to get. And I would be willing to move a day 2 pick for the exact reasons that this guy is talking about. You have effed up a lot of your picks on day 2. So stop using those picks that way and go after some, a little bit more of a sure thing. G Code says Jets 2000 draft, 4 first-round picks, still flops 2.0.
Oh, they'll screw it up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the Jets. Greg RJZ, what the F is Lynch doing? Playing with himself? Let's go. It looks like the fans are getting restless, John. The MySpace guy, which quarterback can you see Shanny develop after max time? Young, Field, Zach Wilson? Well, that is interesting that because of the success of Mac Jones, because of the success of Sam Darnold, I think this is a really interesting super chat, Damon. Yes, any quarterback who's not playing well should do everything in his power to become the Niners' backup, because this is a good offense and you're being supported.
You know who I think Shanahan's next project is going to be? Curtis Rourke.
Well, that's his current project, right? That's a good name. It's probably right on. As far as other guys around the league, well, first of all, Mac Jones is under contract next year. So the question is Mac Jones here next year? Or does Mac Jones say, you know what, I gave you guys a great season. I saved your season. Brock's obviously your guy. That's fine. I showed what I can do. How about you trade me to one of the 6 or 7 teams that's willing to give you a pick for me? But I don't think the Niners are going to give away Mac Jones for a second-round pick. I think they're going to want more. I mean, what's more valuable? Mac Jones as Brock Purdy's backup in 2026 at $7 million or a second-round draft choice? I take Mac Jones.
What's Curtis Rourke's development and who really does? I mean, what if somebody does get, hey, we want Mac Jones. We've evaluated him. We're willing, a first rounder for Mac, a second rounder for Mac. I think you're making that trade and you're saying, Mac, you could not have provided more value to us. We're not going to look the gift horse of you playing 2 years in a row as a backup quarterback here in the mouth. We got one great year out of you, and now we're going to get the most amount of value out of you by selling as high as we can on your stock. I think that would be the smart way to play it.
I'd rather have Mac than a second-round pick. So, and I don't know that you're getting a first. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. But as far as the young quarterback that could come here, if let's just say Mac whispered to them, "Hey Kyle, could you trade me?" And Kyle said, "Okay, we'll take our second-round pick, get down the road." And he goes somewhere else and plays, and the Niners are looking for another backup, but they're looking for kind of the same type thing. I think that Zach Wilson idea is probably pretty interesting. I would be intrigued by Fields because Fields is got 4.4 speed, and he clearly doesn't see it right now, but he's had some really good moments. And if you could coach up Fields, man, I also would be interested in Anthony Richardson. You're talking about 6'4", 250, and he runs 4.4. I mean, that's a unique skill set. But Tanner McKee is interesting. Where's he going to go? And
by the way, I
he's in
just thought of
Philly.
him. We're talking. I don't even think he's a quarterback. I don't even know how you list him on your depth chart. You could put him in like 4 different positions. But you know what would be kind of an interesting, like, what would Kyle do with this piece? Not that you really want to add a 35-year-old Taysom Hill, but
you want Taysom Hill?
What could Taysom Hill do? Just in terms of, hey, Kyle, here's a guy who can do 15 different things. You don't know where he's coming from.
Well, I mean, look at it this way, Damon. I mean, I love that idea. It's an outside the box idea. Okay, so look at the Eagles. They just won the Super Bowl. They have a really good quarterback who's dynamic inside the 5 because of the tush push and his movement ability. Think of, like, we're thinking of Anthony Richardson as just a failed guy. And there's no question he is. But let's just say you were the 49ers and you decided we're going to have Anthony Richardson as our backup and we're going to use him as a runner on the goal line. You're talking about a bigger, stronger, more athletic runner than Fields. Like, we're talking, Fields is 6'1", 220 pounds, strong legs. Anthony Richardson, 6'4", 250 with 4.4 speed. Anthony Richardson would be so intriguing. Like, if the 49ers had Anthony, I was actually thinking this summer, what if Mac plays well, but, you know, I didn't think Daniel Jones was going to play well. And I thought, well, maybe Indianapolis will come knocking for Mac Jones in a trade. Would you take Anthony Richardson for Mac Jones? Well, Mac Jones processes, and he's obviously the pocket passer. But if you're going to give the job back to Brock, Anthony Richardson would not be a bad guy to sign up long-term as your number 2, develop him, and use him in a package on the goal line the way the Eagles use. It doesn't have to be a tush push, but use him as a runner.
Yeah, but what mechanism has him join the roster? You know, is he waived?
Not worth
you
anything.
Him off the streets? Do you
can trade for him?
A 7th rounder for him?
He's a free agent.
I don't know.
He's a free agent at the end of the year, I believe, but he's also a guy that they easily could trade. I just think that Richardson is so athletic. I mean, athletic is one thing, but when you're 6'4", 250 with 4.4 speed, you're super athletic. Now, is he a quarterback? No, he doesn't. He's not really seeing it. He doesn't really, you know, there's.
But again, and fragility is an issue, right? It's already an issue. I can't be mesmerized by your athleticism when you're getting concussed or sprained every other play. This guy tapped out of a football game. You don't see that very much, and that hurts.
He's young. He's a young kid. He's a young kid. You got to remember too, these kids are like younger than Kev. I mean, we're talking about youngsters. I mean, I know you have babies, so Kev looks like an adult to you, but I mean, these are,
well,
you know, a 20-year-old man is a young man. What's that?
I said I did drink with Kevin in Las Vegas, so he did feel a little adult.
I mean, a 20-year-old man is still a boy in a lot of ways. A 21-year-old, these guys are very young. All I would say is Bill Walsh used to look at things as they were and say what they could be. Other guys looked at things as what they were and said, "What, this guy can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do this, he can't do that." Bill would say, "Well, what can he do?" And what Anthony Richardson can do is really, really very special. He would be. I'm not for this generally, like trying to make a quarterback out of an athlete. I'm not for that. I don't think it works usually. But when you already have your starter and you have somebody who's this big and this athletic, Anthony Richardson, I mean, think about it. If you lost your starting quarterback and you want to go to the bench, you're going to want a guy who's going to be able to run anyway because he's probably going to be running for his life. And a guy like Richardson has a huge arm. I mean, I don't know. It's intriguing. You know, he's in some ways he's the most athletic quarterback with big size we've ever seen, and I would take him. I would absolutely take him and see what I can make of him. I don't know that he's ever going to be a pocket passer, but a real pocket passer with success. Zach Wilson would be interesting, but I think there's a lack of maturity there, and you gotta be able to, the quarterback position is a leadership position, and if the guys won't follow you, you're not a leader. And I get the feeling that that's him. John Edwards says the Niners giving up a second-round draft choice and 2 seventh-round choices for Trey Hendrickson. They're going to get a difference maker. That right there would be a fair to me, Damon. That is a fair trade. The guy's a free agent at the end of the year. You don't have him signed beyond this year. You can't trade a number 1, but I would trade a number 2 and a couple 7th-round picks if I could get Hendrickson, especially if the one thing is Hendrickson healthy. Why is he not playing?
Right. So that
would be
question.
My concern.
Yeah. He's got a hip problem. Is that what's going on right now?
Is it a hip or I forget to look at the injury. Was it a hip or a calf? I saw that he's got an injury and he didn't play. So, I mean, obviously he's got to be able to play. But I like that trade, John. I like the idea of a 2 and a little bit more in a deal for Hendrickson. I'll tell you what I would really love is if you put Cam Taylor-Britt in that trade as well.
There you go. Let me get back to where you were there, because I saw that with the one guy, someone was saying that Breece Hall is requesting a trade now. So I was looking for breaking news, and he could see me looking at the internet, scanning for breaking news. We haven't had any here in about 20 minutes. But
Claw-Daddy Arcades in the house, and he's a great sponsor of the Krug Show. We love Claw-Daddy. Claw-Daddy, thank you for sending us to New Orleans. I got a phone call that I've got to make to you later on this week. We definitely want to talk about maybe more travel and doing more stuff with Claw-Daddy Arcades. He's a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades. And he's as it says, he's Mr. Arcade. He's got an arcade business, and he's fantastic. So he's got locations in Capitola Mall, Visalia Mall, and others. He's a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find a location near you. And Claw-Daddy Arcades is also a big fan of the show, which is very cool. And he says, indulge me if we woke up today and the 49ers no longer have first-round picks until 2028, but we snagged Myles Garrett, would that have made us the NFC favorite? I think the 49ers have enough other issues that it probably wouldn't make them the NFC favorite, but they would be among the favorites for sure.
I think you'd get closer. I think you'd get maybe a little closer to being a real identifiable contender this year, but you would be really undercutting your ability to compete going forward. This team needs offensive line, period. I'm done pretending that it's okay, that they haven't addressed it, that they've got a way to money ball and a coach who can get them. No. It's time. It's time to make major offensive line investments. And I just think Myles Garrett would gobble up way too much cap room and draftable stock. It can't be.
By the way, we are approaching 7,000 people watching this right now. If everybody could take a quick 30-second timeout and hit like and subscribe, we would appreciate that. If you hit like, it just helps the algorithm. More people find the stream, that kind of thing. If you hit subscribe, anytime Damon or I go live, you'll get a little ding, a little alert.
Notify. Hit that notify too, right?
Yeah, hit that notification bell. And anytime we go live, you don't have to miss a minute of it. Damon and I go live every day, every morning after the Niners play. So if they play on Monday, we'll be on Tuesday. If they play on Thursday, we'll be on Friday. Normally, we're there on Monday morning, right at 9 a.m. or 9:05, and we get rolling. We chop it up and talk Niners. And thank you, Claw-Daddy Arcade, for that super chat. We got this one from Steven, who says, Kyle and John not making a move is showing me they're trying to tank this season.
No. What are you even looking at, dude? Come on.
Come on, bro.
No. I mean, thank you for watching. No.
I guess I wish you guys could see how much Kyle Shanahan wants this. I wish you guys could see John Lynch walking around the facility, jaw clenched tight, how many man hours he's putting into this, how much he wants this. John Lynch is a Hall of Fame football player with money in the bank, with a beautiful wife and children and a beautiful home in San Diego. He doesn't need any of this. He's doing this because he's a freaking competitor of the highest order, and he wants to win the Super Bowl as an executive, and he wants to deliver that 6th Lombardi to Jed York. That's what he's in it for. That's what Shanahan's in it for. They're not tanking anything. Coach Kuma, 2nd, and Jair Brown for Hendrickson. Done. I'd do that in a heartbeat. And I love Jair. He's a good dude. Kilo says, I can hear John Lynch now. We believe in the guys we have in our building. Yeah.
I know it's lip service, but that is the right message for him to constantly be putting out. It is. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is lip service, but what do you want him to say? Yeah, let me tell you, the guys we got in our locker room, a whole bunch of we don't fucking know about them. Come on.
We've been doing this for a long time. Okay. A lot of sports. We've talked to all the executives.
Very sports.
Damon and I know Bob Myers personally. Damon and I know Brian Sabian personally. Damon and I know John Lynch personally.
Who's this Damien guy?
Yeah. Who's this Damien? And who knows Damien? But we know these guys, and you have to, when you're in this position, you're the leader of men, and you're not just the face of the franchise, and you're not just the voice of the fan. You're also you're part of the room. So the guys in the room, and Sabes used to say this to me. He's like, Krug, I hope you understand that I know you're fishing for, hey, we're looking for this, or hey, we're after this outfielder, or hey, we want this batter, or hey, we want this pitcher. But I gotta go in that clubhouse, man, and I gotta sit next to those guys on the plane and their wives, and I've got to have them believe that we can do this without me getting somebody, because I may not be able to get somebody, and then what? We're just going to circle the drain. So we have to have the belief in the focus has to be the guys in here can get it done, and it can never be anything other than that. Now, while I say that publicly, it doesn't mean I'm not over here making 27,000 phone calls trying to get more guys in the room to make it better, but I can't go into the room going, guys, if we could just get this guy, we'd be fine. If we could just get that guy, it would be fine. You've got to believe in them and make them believe in themselves and make them believe in the direction. And then every guy you get to come into the room is gravy. Now, John Feliciano went on the radio a couple weeks ago and he said, hey, from being in this on the Niners, let me just tell you, when we got significant players, we got Christian McCaffrey, and he walked through the door, it lifted up the whole team. He's like, it really, when you bring a great player into the room, it really does lift the whole room, and it gives the guys more energy, more life, more hope, more belief, more everything, and more juice. So he's like, I do think that Lynch needs to make a deal. This is Feliciano. He goes, I do think he needs to bring a significantly good player into the room to give this team, especially with a late bye, they have a week 14 bye, a little bit more juice to get through the dog days, which are right now, week 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, leading into the bye. So I think that's my long-winded way of saying that I understand when Lynch says we believe in the guys in the building, he's got to say that.
Right. You cannot hold a mandatory, has to say it out loud statement against him as if he's some fuck up.
And you got to think about it from his perspective. He's going to hang up the phone. And he's going to make a phone call to another GM. If the other GM just heard him say, hey, by the way, John, I heard your radio show today, and you said, man, we better make a deal or we're cooked. So I was asking for a 2. I now want a 1. I was asking for a 3. I now want a 2. You're going to pay more if you put more on it. So when you say, hey, we believe in our guys in a room, that's your way of, speaking to your trade partners through the media that we don't have to make this deal. We want to make this deal. We don't have to make this deal.
You never want to take a taxi to the car dealership.
Right.
Okay. Right. Then they know you really need a car today. So you don't take the taxi to the dealership.
Don't smoke a bowl before you go to Costco for shopping, and don't do that either.
Or if you do that, bring your wallet, bring your credit card, because you're gonna.
Ryan Aloy says, and we have 7,000. We just pushed right by 7,000. We're almost at 7,100 now. So thank you to everybody who hit like and subscribe. When you hit like and subscribe, more people come to the algorithm, and it just kind of grows the whole show. So that's why we just jumped by about 1,000 people. Ryan Aloy says, Larry, common sense and logic says next year's first round pick is for an offensive lineman. What about Kyle's draft history or ideology makes you sure they'll do it? what makes me sure they'll do it is that they know that they have to, and they know that Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz, they don't like this year. They don't have a third tackle, which is why they're picking up guys like Andre Dillard and Parker and all these guys, because they know what I know, which is Pleasance can't do it. Burford's not a tackle. They don't have a third tackle. They literally have 2 tackles on this team. If they lose one, they're going to be in a real world of hurt. So, yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. They may go into next year's draft and decide, man, we love this receiver. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I love Carnell Tate from Ohio State. He's an awesome receiver, and I'd have a hard time passing on Carnell Tate. But if you look at the 49ers this year, they got to have the offensive tackle.
Right. They don't need Elijah Surratt. So, they need Kyle doesn't like him and he won't play until week 11, as much as they need someone to replace Trent Williams or Colton McKivitz. I'm going
to give you some of the names that I really like. That just quickly. The best tackle that I've seen is this Spencer Fano from Utah. He's 6'6", he's 300 pounds, he's nasty, he's a run blocker, he's a pass blocker, he's terrific. The Miami kid, Francis Maui Goa, is a tremendous athlete, 5-star prospect, tremendous.
Steamrolling guys in the running game.
Caden Proctor is probably the biggest, most dominant physical specimen. He's 6'7", 366. I mean, this guy's so athletic that they throw him passes in the red zone. Caleb Lomu, also at Utah, another super great tackle. Isaiah World from Oregon, gigantic, 6'8", 312 pounds. Now, a couple of my favorite guys, I like Jennings Dunker, which is a great name, but he plays at Iowa, 6'5", 316 pounds. And I really kind of like Xavier Chaplin, who's a Auburn tackle, 6'7", about 340. Chaplin's expected to go probably in round 2. Dunker's probably going to go at the top of round 2.
Touch early to do the draft preview show.
I would say, yeah, we won't do the draft preview show, but I think you're looking at Fano, Maui Goa, Proctor, Lomu, and Isaiah World all going in the first round. So you've got probably 4 tackles that are going to go in the first round. So, but I think the Niners are probably going to go after one of them. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if they traded up trying to get a great one, because they're rarely going for tackle. But yeah, I do think the Niners, yes, I understand Shanahan, and Lynch, they go for D linemen. By the time the draft rolls around, they may look at this and go, hey, you know what? We love, the defensive line better. And there are some incredible defensive linemen for sure in this draft. But to me, it's an offensive tackle year for the 49ers.
It has to be. They've kicked that can down the road long enough. Yeah. It's time.
No, it's time for sure. It's beyond time. Joseph Ernberg, thanks for this amazing coverage. I'm that fan, LK.
Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you, bro. And Joseph, thank you for all of the supers. You are probably one of the, I always joke with you that you're Mr. Negativity, but I love negativity. And so your negativity is always welcome here, but thank you for all the supers.
Joseph gets it. He understands that some of this is real. Some of this is fun. Some of it's actual anger. Some of it's performative anger. He gets it. He's my kind of audience member. Thank you, Joseph.
PWS in the house. Imagine number 1 Ohio State against number 2 Indiana in the big championship.
I don't think we're going to be imagining that. I think that's where we're going.
Dude, I'm betting Indiana that day. I mean, Indiana looks great. Now, I bet Notre Dame against Indiana in the college football playoff last year because I knew that was a different level for Indiana. And Ohio State is tremendous. But Indiana this year can score on offense, defense, special teams. They can score at any moment. They keep coming. The college football game is too long to contain them. They cannot contain them.
And they're going to put up 40. The difference between Indiana's a good story and Indiana's an absolute problem is how good they are in the line of scrimmage. The Hoosiers kick much ass up front. Like every other run against Indiana is buried in the backfield. Every other run. It's amazing. it's like everyone is Adewale Ogunleye all of a sudden.
They have a tremendous offensive line.
They do.
I mean, let me just take a quick peek. Just the guys that I know on Indiana, Elijah Surratt, the wide receiver, tremendous. The senior, really good. And then the corner, D'Angelo Pons is a big corner who can really play. But they get guys all over the place.
Well, and let me tell you, Omar Cooper Jr. is one of the best wide receivers in the country. I mean,
Mikhail Kamara, the defensive end.
Yep. Dude, they can play, dude. They can absolutely play. Their center,
Fernando Mendoza might be the first pick in the draft. We didn't even mention him.
Isn't that nuts?
And his brother, Alberto, coming off the bench. Yeah, they're big time, man. They are big time. I don't know who their best offensive lineman is. Is it Coogan or I'm not sure who their best offensive lineman is, but they run it, they throw it. Mendoza's 6'5". He's going to be the first pick in the draft. Killer defense, rugged as hell, incredibly well coached. Yeah, they're monster right now.
Let's keep going.
I can't believe we're talking about Indiana as a monster, but that's what it is. Any free agents at O-line next season?
I needed it in my life, Larry. It's been a couple tough years since being laid off. Luckily, I got I've never been happy on Saturdays ever. I am seriously. Thank God I got the Hoosiers getting me through this.
Oh my God! I mean, they've been bad most of your life.
All of my life.
Anthony Thompson maybe is the. When I'm going back to my childhood, did they have Anthony Thompson?
The peak of my Indiana existence was Adewale Ogunleye, and that was about it.
Somebody's asking about 26 offensive linemen. Let me just double check for you, just real quick. I'll give you a quick one here on this.
While you keep doing that, let me go through a few more supers here because we are behind. Also, imagine if Indiana 1-2 undefeated. Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen in the Big Ten title game.
Joel Bitonio is a free agent. Zeitler, those are the free agents. Braden Smith. Once again, the draft. The draft is the spot that you're going to have to go for offensive linemen. I mean, you're typically not going to find them in the free agent market. If you are, you're maybe going to overpay. I mean, it's a draft. It's a draft situation, pretty much.
It's just silent. Is that the moniker? Lynch sitting on his hands, twiddling his thumbs. We don't know that. His hands could be on a phone receiver right now trying to get something done. We still got 45 minutes before we can say what they did or did not do. You going back to
no, go ahead. Oh yeah, well, go ahead if you want to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. This is Kendall saying Rams said screw them picks, won the Super Bowl back-to-back 2 years after Darnold retired. Niners can't say that because they draft like trash. I mean,
they had a good draft last year. I think the 49ers are is they have too many people in their draft equation. And Lynch celebrates it like, hey, when we get the entire organization aligned, okay, but I mean, anytime you introduce a lot of variables, you're introducing potential mistakes. And, it's like, yes, you want to, your analytics people and your scouts and your coaches. How about just a great group of scouts that really know ball? And then, just have them read your analytic data, but to just try to build consensus with 40 people, I don't know, man. To me, it's their process has been okay, but not great. I think they go into a draft deciding they never play it as it comes to them. It's always like, we have to get this position. We need Ricky Pearsall. We need a wide receiver. And it's like, well, can you pivot if a great player fell in your lap? To me this year, the great player from Georgia. Do you watch college football, John? Do you watch college football? Whoever your director of college football scouting is, because I do. And I watched Georgia 7 times last year. And I could have told you, anytime during the spring that Jalon Walker was the superstar of Georgia football. And you took Quinnen Williams over him. And now Jalon Walker's in Atlanta wrecking shop and looking awesome. And, it's like, you watch college football, watch college football and see who the best players are. I mean, it's like the best college football players become the best pro players. That's the way it works. Okay. You got that one. Ernberg says,
yeah. Okay.
You got the Ernberg here. how would Joe Milton look here? Yeah, he's in Dallas. Joe Milton's got a huge arm, but come on. Rumors, Jets talking Bears and 49ers, Jermaine Johnson. A lot of people, Damon, think that Jermaine Johnson is the perfect piece for the Niners. Robert Saleh does know him. He was great at Florida State. He's good against the run and the pass. He's closer to 265 pounds. He did tear his either Achilles or ACL last year and came back this year and has played pretty well. What do you think of Jermaine Johnson as an addition?
What's the price?
I would say it's a third or a fourth round pick. My guess would be a third or a fourth round pick for.
We
Jermaine
can talk.
Johnson.
We can talk at that point. But could I get Bradley Chubb instead?
You'd rather have Bradley Chubb than Jermaine Johnson. Jermaine Johnson's younger. Chubb's older. If the price tag was the same, I think I'd rather have Jermaine Johnson between those two. But Chubb's really good for sure. Let me just check Jermaine Johnson's career this year or his game log this year. See what he's doing this year. He's 6'5", 260 pounds, first round pick, 26th overall in the 22 draft out of Florida State. He's got one sack on the year.
This is where you say Saleh, what's up, right?
Right. Saleh, which one do you want? Let's see what he did last year. Last year he had no sacks. Let's see.
No thanks. I'm good.
23. Well, he barely played. 23 is his last full year. He had 7.5 sacks. So 7.5 sacks in 2023. He's 26. So he's the right age. He's good against the run and the pass. Once again, I like Jermaine Johnson. I'd like to have two. I would give you, how about this? We want a third. You want a fourth. I'll give you a third if I can get Jermaine Johnson and Michael Clemens. I would do that. Some people would say, that's too much. But that's interesting. We got this one. Bill Kennedy. Purdy should be in a boot. He needs total rest. I agree.
I totally agree with you. No, I'm tired of him being limited in practice. Sit him down in practice. Sit him down for 2 weeks, whether he likes it or not. You want reps? Great. They're called mental reps. Take as many as you want. Stay off your feet, Brock.
Stingray HHS says Krug is number one on YouTube, hands down. Well, thank you, Stingray.
Let's go, Krug. If you think I might be number two, like and subscribe.
What does it say? Derek? I've never seen that spelling of Derek. Derek Hovkamp. I hear everyone say we need to get O-line help. Like who? Good linemen are not available because they don't get traded. Draft is great, but does nothing for right now. Yeah, I mean,
their window to improve that situation is gone. That ship has sailed.
To me, there's stopgap offensive linemen, and that's it. Or just offensive linemen that have fallen out of favor. Chase Sr. did a whole breakdown on how the Raiders may move Jackson Powers Johnson, who's a 330-pound center who's fallen out of favor there. If that's the case, I mean, kind of like the Laken Tomlinson deal, I would make that kind of a deal if I could get that player. 49er fan 5-7 says the fact we're talking about the draft on the trade deadline pretty much sums it up.
Well, we're also filling 3 hours commercial free for you. So
the Rod Peoples Niners says $4.99. Larry, you called it on Quinnen Williams. Do you think Jair strong safety and Mustafa free safety are the two going forward? I like Jair Brown. I know a lot of people don't. I kind of think, though, if you said what is the best fit, I would say Jair, to me, is a strong safety. He's a box player, and so's Mustafa. So I think the better fit is Mustafa and Siegel, because Siegel's a converted corner with 4.3 speed. He's a coverage guy. Right. Now, his coverage hasn't been as tight as you want it this year. They've picked on him. Now they're giving him a little bit of a rest, a break to kind of recalibrate. But I think they have some redundancy between Mustafa and Jair. So if they decided that Mustafa's their strong safety, then Jair's probably trade bait.
Well, and, if you wanted to be down on either of those, right? If you wanted to be down on either of those guys, you could say there is a direct correlation between the games that they're playing and the lack of interceptions that this defense has had.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I love the way Mustafa hits.
Oh.
I'm not coming off him.
No. He's a little rusty right now, but he's a hell of a player. Sebastian says, greetings from Finland. I don't think we should do anything crazy for a defensive end this year. I agree with Damon that the O-line will still remain a problem. Okay, there you go. I didn't know we were, and that's Finnish money there.
Huge in Finland. That's a euro, Larry. That's a euro.
It's a euro.
You're dropping euros over in
What's
Finland.
What's the exchange rate in euro to dollar right now? Is that more than $10 or less than $10?
I think it's a little bit more.
Oh, look at that. Who knew? Well of means to stay humble. We have 45 minutes left. We doing anything? Rams got better with a cornerback. Hawks got a wide receiver. Arizona's going nowhere. What the F
Pardon me, Larry.
The
dollar's dominant against the euro right now. That's $8.71 American, $10 euro.
So the euro. Oh,
yeah,
look at that.
So yeah, no. $10 in the United States is worth $8.71 European cents.
So that means the dollar's not strong. You mean
the dollar's stronger than the euro. The dollar's worth more.
Well, you said the opposite, didn't you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that wrong? I said it wrong.
So you $10. So
$10 American is $8.71 European.
Gotcha. Sebastian, thank you again.
Thank you for. You know what? The euro looks sexy. It sounds wealthier. Thank you.
Well of means to stay humble is frustrated there. He says, "What the F are we doing?" I hear you.
We're waiting.
Gee,
we're waiting. We got to take it. We got to take this to the deadline, right? I mean, we're not going anywhere.
Now we do for sure. Yeah. Now we definitely do.
It would be just like us to say goodbye, thanks for watching, and then boom, Niners do a deal.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're probably watching in their office right now. They probably have me and Damon on a big screen. They're just, let's wait till they sign off. And then we'll send Lombardi all the trade news, and he'll blow up. Jesus, if the Niners don't make a trade, they're telling you they don't think they're that good. CMC is saving this team.
Okay, they've already made trades, though. Here's the thing. This is not a team that has not made a trade. They have made trades. They added Cleveland Farrell. They traded for Keon White. They traded for Brian Robinson Jr. So I don't want to hear that they think so little of themselves they haven't done anything. The question today is, will they do something else? Not will they do something?
Well, it's like one of those things, Damon. If you trade draft picks, have you noticed this? I mean, I don't want to draw the correlation completely, but it's definitely partly there. If you say to somebody, give me $1 for this, they're like, I don't know if I want to. But if you say to somebody, give me $8 for this, and you can put it on your card, everybody's like, yeah, sure, here. Boop. Apple Pay. Boop, boop, boop. Anything you put on your card, it's kind of like chips in a casino. Do you really look at it as, $100 in your pocket, or do you look at it as 4 red chips?
Oh, those chips spend so much easier than the $100
You know what I'm saying?
bill.
So don't you get the feeling that like the draft picks to a lot of Niner fans are like, it's like credit card expenditure. It's like, just get it now. Is that how you guys do Christmas shopping? It's just like, just buy anything because we'll just put it on the credit card. I won't have to feel the pain until February or whatever.
Right. But that 18.5% interest is coming.
Right. So like trading, the Niners are basically saying, we don't want to put it on our credit card because we want to be able to have a draft in 2026. I don't think it's them saying that they don't think they're good. I think it has to do with, what is the price tag and what do you want to, how do you want to build? They want to build through the draft.
As we were saying earlier, bad teams jump the track from one idea to the next with no correlation in between the two of them. This was supposed to be a year of austerity for the 49ers. It was, let's cut back on dollars out the door. Let's stop giving away future. Let's get younger. Let's stop getting older. Let's stop paying premium top shelf liquor prices for everybody. We need more guys on younger, more manageable contracts. That was the path this year was set on.
Goodbye, Greenlaw. Hello, Tatum Bethune.
Why walk off that path when you're 6-3 and everything is gone wrong on your way to still being 6-3?
Dire Straits used to have a song, Money for Nothing but Chicks for Free. If the 49ers could get good players for nothing, they're going to do it, but they're not going to trade day one capital, day two capital, unless it's something really significant. Double B Studio said Niners should use a number 2 pick and 5% stock in the team for the Rams medical staff. LOL. Here's a chunk of the team. Please give us your doctor. Angel Murillo says, Larry, Damon, you guys are looking at all this wrong. We should invest that first round pick and second on the best doctor and nutritionist
there you
in
go.
America.
Victor Conti just passed away, right? The chief scientist over
I
at
didn't see that.
Yeah, it happened yesterday. Victor Conti left us.
Really? Wow.
It is amazing that here, we are literally sitting in the sports medicine capital of America. You can't find a bigger collection of higher paid sports medicine thinkers and everything that's it is amazing that it would be something else if your technology company sitting in the middle of Silicon Valley was really bad at tech. What's amazing is that the 49ers are sitting directly in the middle of everybody healthy, making the best nutritional, physical workout choices in America. Like the Bay Area is one of the healthiest places in America. And yet it's almost like all they do is eat McDonald's and sprain their ankles. Just like it's all bad all the time. It does not make sense. That's why I didn't come down Chase Senior's chimney for saying, there's an electromagnetic field over here. I'm willing to listen to anything that might be responsible for this because it does seem abstract to NFL normal injuries in every other city. Now the Chargers are playing catch up. The Commanders played catch up, but there is something over the course of several years now that does feel like a statistical outlier that's very hard to explain.
I hear you. I crapped on. I love Chase Senior, and I think he's really good. But I didn't even bring it up in our stream last time. But I kind of crapped on that whole theory just because the Niners have been in this facility since they left Redwood City.
Right.
They've been in this facility since the late '80s. They haven't had injury problems throughout the late '80s to all the way till now. So I really don't think in that electrical facility and plant was there before they ever built the practice facility. So I don't know. I don't know. I do believe in that kind of thing, Damon. I saw Aaron Brockovich, the movie. I do believe in New Jersey and some of these places where there's like factories and then people wind up with all kinds of terrible illnesses. And we all know what happened in Chernobyl and the whole deal.
Here's the thing. Are Six Flags employees getting hurt at that Six Flags location more than other Six Flags locations?
It's a good question.
Right. Are more roller coaster operators on IR at Six Flags Santa Clara than roller coaster operators at Six Flags Sandusky, Ohio? Then maybe there is something to it.
We had some sound bites. I was going to go with a sound bite here.
Hold on, let's get through all these supers. We got a lot.
We got a sound bite. We got to go sound bite.
Oh, we got sound bite. Oh, thank you.
When you hear that sound bite, you know that hit like and subscribe because we have 8,000 people watching live. It just went under 8,000. Now 756.
Have you ever had 8,000 in the room before, Larry?
You know what? I believe I did in this last draft on Saturday. I think we went over 10 on the last Saturday of the draft. But Kev and I were doing literally a video. Niners have tons of picks, and we went live a bunch. But we had one long stream. I think we had 10. Angel Murillo, Larry, Damon, you guys are okay. We
just did that. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you, Angel. There it is. Okay, here we go. John Edwards in the house. What does it say if the Niners don't make a move today? They are hosting the Super Bowl and have a chance with a wide open NFC. I think no move at all will say that, that they were probably looking for difference makers, and then they just couldn't come together on the price. Because to me, if you really want to add a piece, it's totally doable. There's lots of, because I mean, come on, these guys that are free agents on these losing teams, what are their choices? Move them and get a pick, or don't move them and don't get a pick? You see, I mean, it's not like the Jets are going to the playoffs, or one of these teams is going to the playoffs if they keep Michael Clemens or they keep Will McDonald. So, and you're already getting rid of some of these guys. So I would say it means that the Niners probably tried for the high-end guys and weren't willing to pay the high-end prices.
By the way, Adam Schefter is just sharing the fact.
I do think they'll make a move, though.
Because we're talking about
28 minutes left.
Yeah, we're talking about what's happening. What's happening? Are trades more common in the NFL now than they ever were before at the deadline day? Yes, they absolutely are. But Schefter says, look, there have been 6 trades today. That's tied for the third most on any trade deadline day going back to 1990. There were 10 trades in 2022, 8 trades in 2024. So we'll see what comes in the final 28 minutes here. But I think the real thing,
lots of talk.
There's real
talk is. Let me give you the latest, Damon. Let me give you the latest talk.
Bradley Chubb out there. Will it be Bradley Chubb?
I think it's gonna be Jermaine Johnson. Now there's a report out that the Jets are receiving second-round offers on Jermaine Johnson. And I something tells me that the Niners are going to get involved on Jermaine Johnson, and maybe because they offer their second, or get another piece with Jermaine Johnson. I think the Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens is what I would want. Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald is what I'd want. Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall is what I'd want. I'll throw you Garendo. But that's out there. There's other stuff percolating as well. The Broncos, supposedly, in the last half hour, are looking for trade additions. They're in a 3-way tie atop the AFC. They're 7-2. They've won 6 in a row. They're looking for a splashy addition. They're looking for an edge rusher. So they may be a team looking for Jermaine Johnson. This is also breaking. Breece Hall wants out. He wants a trade.
Who is
going to be a free agent in the offseason?
New York.
Supposedly, according to reports, after already swinging 2 jaw-dropping trades, the Jets are attempting to make another move. According to Jordan Schultz, the Jets, Breece Hall wants a trade, according to Jordan Schultz. The Jets are going to try to retain him, according to Tom Pelissero, but he wants out. That's interesting, because that would be a guy worth getting, because he is a difference-making running back, even though the Niners have running backs. Also, the Bills are eyeing trades for Deebo Samuel and Von Miller. So the Bills, who just lost Ed Oliver on their defensive front, and it's funny, Deebo goes to, the Niners say goodbye to Deebo, and people are like, oh, he's going to Washington. He's going to kick ass for Washington. You were saying he's not kicking ass for Washington.
I said
he was totally done, which Deebo, all Niner fans could see. And when people called me from Washington, I did interviews back there when he signed there. And people were like, what do you think about it? And I said, I think he's done. I think he's been done. And they're like, even the host was like, well, it sounds like that might be more of kind of a hometown angle. I'm like, no, you guys want to like this because you just got him. I get it. But I'm just telling you the truth. I think the guy's done. I think he was done a couple of years ago. I said, look at the history of NFL running backs who run through people. They're done at 28, 29. What's Deebo? He's 28. He's 29. He's done. He's done. Earl Campbell was done at 28, 29. Larry Johnson was done 28, 29. Go look at all the guys who run through you in the NFL. They're done by the time they're 28 or 29.
I think Deebo will have 2 good games left in him in his career. I said he's got about 4 left. He's played well a couple of times. He'll have a couple of good games still in his career, but as a building block, our future is on this guy. The Commanders need Terry McLaurin to get healthy as fast as possible.
Beats and meats. Trade our first, second, and third round picks for Sauce Gardner and 31 fifth-round picks. He's already been traded. Niner fan 57. Go pick by pick last year's draft and tell me if you feel the same way about the class, how you did at the end of off season, end of last offseason.
Well, again, we haven't even kicked off week 10, so any definitive evaluation of any draft class right now is fool's gold. We still don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give the draft a little bit of time.
Agreed.
Craig's Kitchen says, talk injuries. Are they stretching before games, practice, yoga, etc.? It's ludicrous how the whole team can improve in this area. FCOL.
I don't know what that. I don't know what
I'm not sure what that means. But as far as talk injuries, yes, this. I mean, come on. I mean, let's not be morons here. There is no such thing as a high school, a college, a pro football team that plays football without stretching. Doesn't exist.
Doesn't happen in flag football.
Everybody stretches, whether you see it or not. Trust me when I say this. I don't often say this, to the audience. Just trust me, but trust me when I say that all football teams stretch. All.
Really,
including the Niners.
Very far out on a limb there. I trust you.
Yeah. They all stretch. It's not that they don't stretch.
We had a new member.
Imagine? You know what'd be hilarious?
Hold on, Larry.
New member, Mike Garcia. Way to go, Mike. Welcome aboard. Wouldn't it be awesome if the 49ers showed their players like driving up to the stadium in uniform and then just walking out to the field and they're playing the anthem? It's like, so there's absolutely no stretching going on. These guys are going from their Rivian to the 50-yard line for the handshake. It's like, come on.
You got coaches screaming at guys, stop stretching.
By the way, that Rivion's a very nice looking vehicle.
I don't like the headlights. I think the headlights are a little weird looking on those.
A buddy of mine has one. I was in it the other day. I was like, Jesus, this thing's awesome. That's a nice vehicle, man. JC in the house. Can Lynch trade for a player already on the IR? No. Who are you thinking of? Who's he thinking of there? I'm not sure who he's thinking of. I think once you're on the IR, you cannot be traded. Mike Garcia, you think the reason for the Niners getting injured all the time is the outcome of the candlestick curse? Yeah. Damon believes in that. I don't believe in that. I think it has to do more than anything with a couple of factors. Okay. The 49ers like fast backs. They like running backs that are fast. And then they run a ton. And they let the outside zone
slow ones. That's
but they like speedy backs, and their speedy backs are usually smaller and like Raheem Mostert ran totally upright. He took hits. McCaffrey runs kind of upright. He takes hits. If you're a speed back and you're already kind of smaller, you can't take as many hits, and now you are taking a lot of hits. So I think that has a lot to do with it. They go with smaller offensive linemen. Maybe that hurts them. I don't really have a theory that's ironclad by any stretch. I'll say this. The Niners are a physical football team. They admire physicality. They believe in establishing calluses in August, where Sean McVay believes in sitting all your best players in August. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe the Kyle Shanahan thinking needs to be updated from old school thinking of, hey, we need to build calluses in August to we need to keep our best players off the field until week 1. That's what McVay does.
Just not to defend Shanahan, but what we've never seen a single leak out of any 49er training camp practice of on the record or off the record players complaining about the overall physical nature of Kyle's ramp up to the season. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard a single guy said, man, these Niner practices are officially harder than the way they're practicing in other markets, other teams. No one's ever complained. It would be,
yeah. I mean, it would be kind of a wuss move to do that, but you're right. There's all these other guys and all these other teams that they've brought in. Where's the guy who played for Denver last year or played for, Carolina 2 years ago? Who's like, man, in Carolina, they totally took care of our bodies better than they do here. You would think there would be somebody who would talk out, speak off the record, and say, hey, look, I don't like this, but nobody has, so it makes you wonder.
When it comes to saying some negative things about Kyle Shanahan, there are a few players who have been very comfortable, some wide receivers who have done that, right? And all of their complaints about Shanahan have nothing to do with injury prevention, body maintenance. It's, I didn't get to play enough. That's all. It's always about snap count. So
we're inside of 19 minutes before the deadline. We still have more supers here. Paul Ingracia says, biggest fan from Norway. Thank you. After
Norway,
Williams,
Finland, we're just
we're
crushing it.
We're crushing it
in
where?
Northern Europe. Thank you.
Have you been to Norway?
I've landed in Norway on the way to Amsterdam, but I've never.
Okay.
Yes, and by the way,
do you want to tell us what you did in Amsterdam?
Drugs. No. No. Here's the thing. Amsterdam, if you removed every element of you can smoke weed here and every element of a red light district, Amsterdam is still one of the greatest places you could ever. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's built like a city. They don't build cities like that anymore. It's incredible. It's one of the greatest entry points for a new traveler. First time I ever left the continental United States, other than to go to Hawaii, was to meet Jillian in Amsterdam. Then we went to Paris. That's where we got engaged. Then we went to London. But
how's the climate? How's the climate?
I was too high to notice. I don't know. No, but it was great. It was great. It was great. Amsterdam is awesome. Go to Amsterdam. Go to Amsterdam.
So Paul, biggest fan from Norway, he says after Williams went down, it's obvious Lynch has to get a defensive end. 119 Norwegian kroner. It's $10, red and gold, baby.
Give me the kroners. Pay me in kroners. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going to walk into the house. Honey, I just got 119 Norwegian kroner. What did you say to me?
She's like, well, had I known that, we would have gotten some on-brand Halloween candy, Larry.
Do you know what my wife did to my kroner? Okay. All right. That's enough. That's
hey
enough.
now. Oh,
hey now. All right.
Kroner. I've never even met her.
Cinema Pigeon, which is also a great handle. I also think Debo does not take good care of his body.
He doesn't.
What makes you say that? From one fat guy to another.
Yeah. He's been out of shape every day other than in season.
I know Pudgy, and he's Pudgy. Oscar Espinoza says jar.
Put it in the Ganta jar. Thank you.
Dominic Ramsey. What about Jennings and a fourth for Breece Hall? Do it. Drive him to SFO right now. Drive him myself. Slowish receiver with a big attitude, who's a great player when money's on the table, but he now is at a point where he wants to get broken off, and the Niners aren't breaking him off, so you might as well move on. I also kind of feel like he's a little bit of a distraction. I think Mac Jones feels like he needs to go to JJ because JJ is such a strong personality. But is JJ open? How about let's go to the open guy and not worry about anybody's bloated ego?
I'll say this. JJ had his first halfway decent game in a long time in New York. Hopefully he can keep it up.
There you go.
They need him. They either need to trade him or they need to play him more and get him the ball more.
They need a receiver, and hopefully he can be that receiver. Saad Khan says, do we think the Giants would demand a first-round pick for Thibodeau given what Quinnen fetched? The talk is, coming into this week, that the Giants wanted a first-round pick for Thibodeau.
I don't think he's worth a first-rounder. I don't think you can say that Thibodeau is not in the realm of Quinnen Williams.
No, he's not in the realm of Trey Hendrickson. He's not. He's a nice edge piece, but not worth a number one. Oh, we got this one here. Cinema Pigeon. Tart and Hargrave said the Eagles practice easier. Okay. Maybe there you go.
I have not seen that. I'm not here to argue with you, Cinema Pigeon.
No, I think he's right. I think Hargrave might have said that.
Okay.
Tart, I don't know, but Hargrave, I think, said that. Braden Oberhurst says, Larry, would you say after the next loss for the Niners, that's when they should bring back Purdy? My whole thing is they should bring back Purdy when Purdy is so healed that he feels like good enough that he could play the rest of the season. Like if you said to Brock, hey, how do you feel? I feel all right. Okay, we need more than that. Do you feel good? Yeah, I feel good. Do you feel like you could play the rest of the season? No, then it's not the right time to bring you back. If you were going with some lousy quarterback and you were losing games and you were playing poorly, it'd be one thing, but you're going with a quarterback that might be as good as Purdy in Purdy's current state. and you're winning games. So there's no. I understand it's Brock's team, and he's got you can't just be like, oh, it's anybody's job now. You got to be consistent and be like, hey, we paid Brock, we love Brock, Brock's our guy.
Look, metric,
but I don't think Brock is as good as Jones when he's got turf toe and he doesn't have arm strength, accuracy, or mobility. Accuracy, mobility, and arm strength are three elements, Damon, that make Brock Purdy what he is. And this turf toe, hurting him in those three areas, I think makes Jones the better player.
There is no amount of winning or losing that the Niners are going through with Mac Jones that is the metric to whether Brock plays or not. Brock plays when Brock is healthy. That's it. That's it. When the toe's ready to go, we can talk about him coming back.
Right.
But until then, it's not about winning or losing. If asset protection means anything, protecting your franchise quarterback is part of the job. And they cannot have Brock Purdy get re-injured when we already know that they're pushing the recovery time on an injury.
It's kind of a weird thing, though, isn't it? Because I hear what you're saying, and I hear what they're saying. They're basically saying, hey, when Brock's ready to go, he's going to be back in there. Okay. But what if they've got, 3 or 4 games here before the bye? What if each game Mac Jones lights it up, throws for 300 yards, and they win all those games? Then what?
Then we will be thrilled to cross that bridge when that happens. I mean,
I
really,
but you know what I'm saying? I mean, so I don't know if I would say that. 12 minutes and 53 seconds left.
I cannot be talked into the concept that what the 49ers have in Mac Jones is somehow bad for them or subversive as to who really runs Mac Jones gets it 100%. Brock Purdy gets it 100%. These two guys are not at each other's throats. They've been so complimentary.
Great quarterback room. With Rourke and Adrian Martinez, all 4 guys the same age. They get along great. Max kind of a smart ass.
You cannot convince me that this is a negative situation. So I'm not going to even approach it like that. I think the Niners got a luxury that very few teams have ever been afforded in their franchise histories. 2 guys who are good enough to kind of get it done. That's great. It's awesome.
You got 2 quarterbacks you can win with, who can process, and it's all about, can Lynch get a little help here at the deadline for the defense? And then let's see what they can do. I mean, it's wide open in the NFC.
How about
Niner
this,
Cali boy? Go ahead.
Most teams have no quarterbacks that they can win with.
9,000, Damon. We're at over 9,000 now. And it keeps going up. 915, 917, 919.
Welcome.
Let's see if we can get to 10,000. Can we get to 10,000 subs? Hit like and subscribe. Everybody hit like and subscribe right now, and we may get to 10,000 before
Here's the thing,
deadline.
Larry, you really want to feel your power and test your power on here on YouTube today? Can you force your audience to subscribe to my channel as well? Because if you could get me over 50,000, there's enough people watching who's not subscribing to me to put me at 50,000 by the time I'm done with this sentence, if they just wanted to get aggressive. Thank you very much if you do. But look, Larry, most quarterbacks, most teams have no quarterbacks who can win. If you're lucky, you got 1 quarterback who can win. The Niners have 2 quarterbacks that can win. Now, we've all heard so often in our lives, if you have 2 quarterbacks, that means you really don't have 1. This is not that. This is not that scenario or that cliche playing out. This is a good thing that the Niners have 2 quarterbacks. It's great. Let's not make it a negative. It's literally the only positive thing that's holding up the goddamn season right now.
Man, we absolutely now we get over 9,100.
9,100, Larry, they're coming
and climbing. Hit like and subscribe, everybody. Let's see if we can get to 10,000 before the trade deadline comes down in about 10 minutes. Niner Cali boy says the Niners haven't learned from their Chicago blunder at the deadline 2 years ago. Refresh me. 2 years ago, trade deadline, Chicago.
Niner Chicago blunder.
I don't remember that blunder. Maybe I'm just read too many super chats. What did the Niners do with the Bears at the deadline 2 years ago?
I don't know.
Niner Cali boy. Maybe somebody remind us what they did.
Yeah, what is that?
Michael says, who can the Niners acquire that can make Stafford's spirals look like ass next week? A speed rusher, Carl Granderson, Jermaine Johnson. Let's be honest about this. If they can't move Stafford off the spot, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell are going to kill the 49er corners. And Stafford's going to throw for 4 bills. They have not been able to move the quarterback off the spot. You have to move the quarterback off of his spot or you're just going to get crushed. So any kind of a speed rusher at all. Now, if they don't get anybody, to me, the best 2 practice squad poaches would be Mo Kamara from Tampa or Kamon Rucker from Baltimore. They're both out there on practice squads that could be plucked. That's the direction I would go if they can't get this done. Patrick Engler says they are not trading for anyone and hope I'm wrong. CMC was babysat literally by Shanahan, which is why he's in the 4th quarter in the win. Yeah, well, that makes absolutely no sense. I babysat this kid.
I put him in jeopardy and insisted he played in the middle of the road all day.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you love Christian, you should love to have Christian. If Christian's this indispensable monster that is the reason that you're so great, then why are you running him into a brick wall in the 4th quarter when everybody in the stadium knows you're trying to run out the clock? Why would you subject him to 30 hits like that over the course of the last 5 weeks of the season when you could run anybody? You could run a non-running back. You could run a linebacker. You could run anybody and probably have the same result. Why do
My 6-year-old is a bit more measured. My 4-year-old is a Tasmanian devil. And I'm just telling you what I tell Ozzy all the time. If you like that toy, be careful with it. Because the way you're playing with it, you're going to break it. And I would say the same thing to Kyle Shanahan. If you like that player, be careful with it. Because the way you're playing with him gets him broken.
What does your kid say when you say that?
He looks at me and usually breaks the toy.
If you really like that toy, you better not break it.
Yeah.
He's giving you that look like, and what happens if you break it? Will you get me another one, Dad? JC says, glad to have you guys on YouTube. Radio is dead. Wow. Well, don't say that. You can hear me tonight on the radio at from 6 to 7 on Niners Nightly. But thank you for joining us on YouTube, JC. We appreciate you, bro. Stefan says, this could be Damon's friend, Stefan. It could be in Vegas.
Let's go.
What is this center's have to be? Wait. What is this center's have to be super smart crap from the Niners? If that were true, teams would be scouting at their local math club.
The center is usually among the smartest guys on the team. There is no one more responsible for coordinating the blitz call out, the pass protection. Historically, the smartest guys on the team are your offensive linemen. You have to be super smart to play that position and quarterback. There's no idiots can get away with that, I don't think. So that's one of the hardest positions to play in football, man. Center's a monster.
Well, every team does it differently. Some teams put more on the center than other teams. You do need to be somewhat cerebral, but let's not make this more than it is. It's not like you got to be Mensa.
Right, they're not splitting the atom.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
But you got to be football smart, man.
You got to be football smart. But I mean, the Niners' backup center, Drake Nugent, he went to Stanford. He's pretty smart. Thomas Selman, super disappointing deadline. I wanted to win the division.
You still might. You're tied for first place.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of these deals do come down right at the final thing because deadlines make deals, and so we'll push past one and see if anything does shake out. My guess.
By the way, the latest tweet from Adam Schefter is, as expected, Eagles wide receiver AJ Brown has not and will not be traded today.
Niner Cali boy says Jalen Johnson. Okay,
he's out there again. There are two very interesting players just sitting out there.
The Jets and the Titans seem to be the fit for the
Jets,
Niners.
Titans, Dolphins.
SF Niners 808. Why Niners acting like we didn't lose Bosa and Fred and Mikel? Well, it's that's a good question. John Lynch went on KMBR last week and said, "Hey, there's still time. So I won't say that we're done, but he basically was like, we don't want to give away our draft, and we don't want anybody who's a rental. That's what he said. So what does that mean? That probably means that they want to move either 27 picks or day 3 picks or players, but they don't want to move. They don't want to move their day 1, day 2, day 3 picks.
Nor should
and who
they.
knows? I mean, maybe you never know internally. Maybe Jed York and has come to Lynch and said, guess what? You can't move those picks. We're not allowing you to move those picks. There could be that as well. And they would never tell us that, right? They would absolutely never tell us that. If John Lynch got a call from Jed York saying, John, some of the trades we've worked haven't gone that great. We've decided we're not allowing you guys to trade any day 1 or day 2 picks. Do you think John Lynch is going to go, hey, Jed won't let me? No. He's not going to throw Jed under the bus. He's going to make up some story and some reasoning that jives with why they didn't do anything. But it's possible that Jed said to him, you know what? We're not sure about the leadership personnel-wise. We don't like some of the direction and some of the moves. And so you can move day 3 picks and that kind of thing, but if you guys don't have our blessing to move day 1 or day 2 picks. I mean, who knows? It could be we're sitting here blaming Lynch, but it could be Jed. I mean, the one thing that the Yorks have shown is that they meddle and they get involved and they get nervous and they get itchy and they get, and a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing. And Dr. John York, everybody, there's just a lot. I just say this from being around the Niners. Everybody who works for the organization is just tight as a drum. Everybody's tight as a drum. Everybody's looking over their shoulder. Everybody's nervous. Everybody's worried about their job.
Isn't that what you wanted, though, Larry? I mean, one of our complaints last year is you thought guys were a little bit too comfortable around the building.
Well, I mean, you got to have. I do think that you can be too comfortable, but you also, I mean, there's just kind of this. It's got to be consistent. It's got to make sense. Your wishes from ownership, as it pertains to the cap and what you spend, have to make sense. But when your owners who aren't football people start getting involved in football related decisions, I think that's always a bad thing. Always a bad thing. We do have more supers here though coming in. Justin says if they don't make the playoffs, I'd can Lynch. I think Lynch probably gets kicked upstairs if they don't make the playoffs.
I would say that if they failed short of the playoffs this year, firing anybody on the spot as if injuries didn't play a massive role in it is probably an overreaction. I know it would be satisfying on some levels, but I don't think the guy has painted himself into a do or die fired or rehired corner. I don't think that's how the team operates. That's how bad teams operate. I don't think so.
He will absolutely not be fired. I'll say that.
How about
absolutely.
This? John
absolutely not be fired.
Lynch's exit will not be cloaked in shame.
He will not be fired. I don't believe that. Either, somebody will tell him we want to go in a different direction. He'll walk away on his own, or he'll more likely becomes president and they make one of their underlings. They love their internal promotions. I could see them promoting, a Josh Williams or somebody like that, who's internal as one of Lynch's lieutenants, to general manager, and John kicking himself up to president. I could see some kind of internal restructuring of some kind. Looks like Schefter's looking at his phone trying to announce something here. Justin Lonker says shows no conference.
No confidence in this year's team.
No confidence in this year's team.
Justin, here's the thing. A lack of move isn't a direct straight line to we don't believe in you guys. When they've already made 3 moves, for fuck's sakes. They've already made 3 trades. Brian Robinson Jr. was a trade that happened 4 weeks ago. Cleveland Farrell added to the practice squad. Just got him off the street. Traded for Keon White. They've already made 2.5 trades. Is that not showing confidence? Is that not showing we're not giving up on the year? I mean,
I think it's safe to say this. They're not all in on this year.
Nor should they be. Nor should they be.
They shouldn't be all in.
Exactly.
The deadline has approached us and has come, and we're officially at the deadline. So we'll find out here in the next few minutes if anything came down right at the deadline.
And Larry, we're 60 new viewers away from crossing 10,000.
Seriously, not even. We just lost a few there.
That's
So
right.
we're getting close to 10,000 views or 10,000 people in the room. Lyrics Media says, I would feel good about conserving high draft capital if the Niners were any good at drafting. Let's be real. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but you keep your picks because you never know who's going to be making those picks. But
Right.
yeah, I agree.
Even bad drafting teams make the right picks some days.
I mean, draft capital is, this is the bloodline to the sport. So you got to keep your draft picks for the most part. You can't just be like, damn those picks. Texas Poker, trading today is like a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. God, isn't that the I've heard that commercial already. Isn't that like a anti-Viagra commercial or something? I've heard people say that Viagra is just like it's a Band-Aid for a gunshot wound. I just heard that on KMBR. This can be anything. I mean, you tell me that the Christian McCaffrey trade wasn't a good trade. Trades can be great. Trades can be awful. It really depends on who gets traded, what you trade. We got this one from Well of Means to Stay Humble. Shame on us. What a waste.
Wait. The team is 6-3 and in a first place tie with 3 teams in their division, and they have a win in hand on all of them. Am I missing something? Is it perfect? Is it what you wanted? Did you want to lose Fred Warner and Nick Bosa and not seeing Brandon Ayuk yet and all that shit and Purdy's turf toe? No. 6-3 with a win in hand over every team that matters in their own division. I've seen worse seasons. I've seen worse positioned players. But I also think it's smart that the Niners are identifying this moment of further overinvestment in this year is probably not as prudent as saving a few more bullets for next year and what really will probably be the last go around for Kittle and McCaffrey. That's, I think the Niners have made the best of a bad situation.
I don't know, man. I'm disappointed. I mean, you're 6-3. You've got you're 5-1 in the conference. You're undefeated in the division. You've got a big game coming up with the Rams. You got to move Stafford off his perch. You got a bunch of young DBs. They're not going to develop nearly as well without some more pass rush up front. You didn't do anything to add to your pass rush. Really, I mean, you're just, so I'm disappointed. I mean, to me, it's a disappointing move. It's a disappointing day if they don't add anything. Now, I didn't
think they would, Larry. I mean, I told you yesterday on Wake Up, I think that they might be done here, and I didn't think they were going to make another move today. And, I think I wish I were wrong about that. I do think Bradley Chubb for a day 3er would have been a nice add, but did the Dolphins trade it? I mean, he hasn't been traded to anybody. Obviously, the Dolphins didn't get what they were asking for Bradley Chubb because I haven't seen anyone else pick him up.
Supposedly, the Niners were checking in on Jermaine Johnson, according to Connor Hughes, but it sounds like maybe the Jets wanted a high day 2 pick. Maybe the Niners weren't offering that. But there you go. Unbelievable, though. They really do. They've got the Rams this week, and the Rams have an incredible passing game, and this is going to be, it's bitter. It's bitter. There's no question about it. It's bitter. To not do anything. Now, if you can find the right piece off somebody's practice squad, I could be happy with that. But, I don't have a lot of confidence in that. I mean, they really do need some help up front. They did trade for Brian. I mean, before you sit there and say the Niners didn't do anything, they did, as Damon said, traded for Keon White, traded for Brian Robinson, traded for Bryce Huff in the offseason. So they did make some moves, but they needed more help, and they didn't get it. And that's a tough one. That's a tough one to stomach.
We're over 10,000, Larry. It just happened.
Are we? Do we get over 10,000?
10,000 people.
10,022 and climbing.
all platforms. Basically, by the way, I just looked over and on Twitter right now, Jim Rome has 10,000 people watching his show. So we're as big as the Rome show right now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jim. But we're over 10,000, and thank you to everyone for hitting like and subscribe. By the way, I got a wave of like 30, 40 subscribers from my last call to action, Larry. So do it again. Send them my way. My goodness.
There you go.
Can we get to 48,500 on my side today?
Yeah, we're dipped under 10,000 now. We're at 9,950. But of course, a lot of people were waiting on the deadline. Harry Johnson says, I was told to stop playing with my toys so much it would make me go blind. 30 years later, still 2020, baby.
Again, Harry Johnson. You got to love that. Thank you
Harry Johnson. That's Harry Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, Stricken, the people saying season is over are genuinely brain dead. Yeah, I mean, come on. The Green Bay and Detroit just lost. Everybody's somewhat flawed, but this doesn't help. Thomas Selman, Dieter was right, unfortunately, all about 26. Yeah, I mean, first of all, Dieter has said that this.
Wait, Dieter's ready to pack up the year.
Dieter's been saying that this year's always been about 2026. To me, whether he's right or not, you can debate whether he's right or not, but you can also debate whether the wisdom is smart or not. And to me, when you have Trent Williams, George Kittle, Nick Bosa, CMC, and none of those guys are going to be better next year than this year, why you would make this about 26 when you have all those guys healthy and younger in 2025? What are the odds that the Niners are going to be younger and healthier, in 2026 with their key pieces? They're not. So the wisdom of 26, it wasn't just that what Dieter was saying. It was just that the idea of being all about 2026 and not about 2025. You don't even know if Trent Williams will be on the team in 2026. And then what? So I reject that across the board.
I would like to quote Kyle Shanahan. We could all be dead tomorrow.
Joseph Ernberg, John and Kyle will be here forever and never get a ring. Wow. So far, you're right. Presley Orr, Schefter said a trade fell through. X says Jets. What does that mean?
What is it? A trade for who fell through?
Probably Jermaine Johnson. That's probably. Yo, Stricken, team is 6-3 with backups, yet fans are still bitching. Well, I mean, fans are looking at a team. Niner fans want to win the Super Bowl, and they want to win the Super Bowl now. That's what they're about. So I understand the fans, and I'm not going to turn on the fans, and nor should the Niners. The Niners have the best fans in the whole freaking league, and if you don't believe me, go watch the Niners on the road. Nobody packs the house on the road like the Niner fans, and you're going to sit there and bash Niner fans? Come on. I mean, you can't bash Niner fans for wanting their team to be better and being disappointed when they didn't get better. People that are bitching are people that care about the team. You know what's the opposite of love? It's not hate. It's indifference.
Apathy.
Exactly. You want to see apathy? Go watch Giants baseball. SRT says, great. We're saving picks to miss on more picks like the last two drafts. They don't want to give away their draft capital. It's an organizational thing. The Big 25, I'm not saying it's right, but that's their organizational theory. The Big 25, enough with their 6-3 BS. They're going to go 1-2 or 0-3 against the rest of the NFC.
I mean, I was told that in the first 3 games of the year, and you were wrong then and might be wrong now. I'm tired of these definitive, let me tell you about what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. If they beat the fucking Rams, you're 7-3. Then what? You want to give up on that season then? I mean, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, this doom, the doom and gloom, crowd, that gets a little overwhelming.
It's again,
based on what? I mean, it's like they beat the Rams in LA, but they can't beat the Rams at home now. Is that what you're saying? Kid tricks to disappointed cornerback Pat Myaz was there for the taking.
Pat Myaz.
Damn. Why didn't they get Pat Myaz?
This is seriously. It's like Bart Simpson calling Moe's Tavern over.
Cody says this has to signal that this season is chalked.
No.
Just they didn't want to trade their draft capital for next year. They didn't want to trade it.
Look, there are some times that you got to get out of the pot. And I'm not saying that they're not playing the poker hand anymore, but not reinvesting in this pot right now is the right way to do it. The Niners have sat around. They've been playing this hand. It's gone pretty well, though. But are you going to rebuy into this season? I don't think so, but I'm at the table, so we're going to watch it play out. But I don't think I'm doing a rebuy right now. And in a weird way, they already have with the Keon White trade. Let's see. It's going to be bend, don't break. Just try to get off the field on third down for the remainder of the year. Defense. It won't be impressive. It won't be overwhelming. The Niners offensively, I don't think it's going to be over impressive or overwhelming. But you don't have to be over impressive or overwhelming anymore.
I need an aggressive pluck or poach off somebody's practice squad. I need a new player because there's no question that you don't have enough. And that's what it's really about. Why are the fans disenchanted? Why are the fans frustrated? Why are the fans lashing out? Because they are smart enough to know that the 49ers don't have enough.
Well, period. And what happen when the next injury occurs, right?
I'm just saying, yeah, you can't. And then that's the other thing. But I mean, I was looking for that one more piece that you could get for a day 3 pick. I was looking for one more addition. Maybe they can poach somebody off somebody's practice squad. There's a couple decent players out there, but not many more.
I'm refreshing Nick Wagner's, but Nick hasn't tweeted in over 3 hours, which means there was nothing coming out of Santa Clara on their end.
I don't even think he's there today. SRT says Roseman is greater than Lynch. Yeah, well, I think that's probably true. Cody says can't win with no pass rush in the playoffs. Gonna have to find somewhere. Joseph Ernberg, they underpromised and underdelivered, Larry. Yep.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, you don't want to overpromise, but, that's why John Lynch didn't promise anything because he kind of knew he wasn't going to do anything. Chris says, I think they're banking on the offense being able to carry the team as the firepower returns over the next several weeks. Who's coming back?
Ricky Pearsall, Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk, maybe. And Pearsall's coming back for what? A game? 2? How many games can Ricky play before he gets hurt again? See, Ricky's glass and Ayuk's damaged goods. And so I don't have a lot of belief that either of those guys is coming to the rescue.
It's all about Tongas from here on out. He's going to get
Casey Colt. They better start hitting on the draft picks if they're too scared to make a move. Can't tell me there wasn't a modest trade to be had. Granderson, Arden Key. Yeah, I agree. You couldn't get a Davin Godchuk. You couldn't get a Carl Granderson. You couldn't get a Jermaine Johnson. You couldn't get a Michael Clemens. It's
obviously you couldn't.
Yeah,
that's right. They couldn't.
Or maybe you just didn't have any picks to move. Chef Fabs, member for 22 months. Y'all think the Niners or any team owners care that much about the fans?
Oh, that's Chef A, by the way. That's Chef A.
Chef A.
Yeah.
Do I think that any owner cares about the fans? Not really. Not really. They're a necessary evil.
Right. They do to an extent that they know that that's the customer, but they don't really care like I care about who you are in your family. They just care that there are enough people to check the box of, yes, I'm coming in to buy your product. That's
the NFL. The NFL. Fans. Yeah. I mean, don't you think the NFL is at a point now where, like, if you go cover boxing, they're like, oh my God, what can we get you? If you're covering, baseball, they're like, oh, what can we do for you? When they're covering football, it's like the PR staff is working against you. They don't need you. They know they don't need you. And they know you need them, and they treat it as such.
Here's and your dry chicken finger.
Well, it's just a gigantic turnoff. It's just somebody whispering in your ear some jackass comment that means absolutely nothing, just so she or he can feel somewhat important in their crappy ass job. That's the situation. NFL doesn't need the fans, so the tickets cost a ton. The media people don't help you.
Well, Well, I've said this for years that
they don't want to get you that interview. They don't need that interview. Where the Warriors may need that interview, or the Giants may need that interview, or Cal's like, hey, come on out, Krug. We'll get you Wilcox. We'll get you Ron Rivera. We'll get you, the quarterback. We'll get you this guy. Why? Because Cal needs right. people. The NFL doesn't.
I've said this, and it's landed harshly. It's intended to. NFL owners care about one thing more than anything else, and that's profit and expanding profit. And when it comes to how much the NFL cares about the fans, they would gladly crash a team plane into a children's hospital for another $1 billion contract to sell to another streaming service. The amount of caring about their own players is negligible. If they really cared about their own players, there would be universal health care for anyone who ever played a down of practice. They don't do that. They don't really even care about their own players, but we'll pay you, get out of our way. We'll pay you, get out of our way. That's the thing. They don't care who their fans are. Bunch of nameless, faceless lemmings. As long as the line is out the door, they're happy.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL and their executives are so tired. They wrap themselves in all these PC initiatives, and they don't give a damn about any of those people. Michael Chan says, I wasn't expecting a big trade, but was hoping for some depth pieces. We've seen what the coaching staff can do with lesser players. Okay. We got this one from John Doe. Ownership won't let them spend. They believe they're 1 or 2 years away from contending. They're just super lucky to have the record that they have. There's probably a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of truth in that.
Yes, but here's the thing. They got the record that they have, which puts them in a position to where you're asking for more. They're basically saying, we've given you all we got here, Captain. And I don't know. They're still a halfway decent football team, even though they're flawed as hell. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at a team that I think could be a playoff team. And I'm going to keep saying it until I'm proven wrong. Any swinging dick in the playoffs this year could win it all.
I definitely get the feeling that the Niners, as an ownership, lack conviction. They don't have conviction. They just are kind of monitoring everything, hoping for the best. I don't think they have vision, and I don't think they have conviction. Niner fan asked the Bengals how that strategy works. We got this one, Luis Madera. Just call up Sebastian Valdez at this point. You're probably going to see him. Leaf says, what happened to Evan Anderson? I think he could help on the D-line. Seemed promising. He's there. He's in practice. He's working. He's a run defender. PWS, thoughts on Bochy, Posey, Baker, and Vitello with the Giants. Thoughts?
Only one of them, or only two of them are with the Giants. Bochy is not.
Neither's Dusty, I guess, is in some role with the Giants. Thoughts on that? Good luck, Giants. Well of means to stay humble. Kyle will never be let go, but Kyle and the Bengals make so much sense. I can see Kyle wanting a change of scenery. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Get me to Cincinnati. I don't see that.
One.
Thomas Selman says, on to Sunday, beat the Rams. Huff is coming back. There you go. Thomas Selman.
By the way, I just checked out Dave Lombardi's Twitter to see if he had any information coming up here. He just said
the Niners did nothing and they were right to do nothing. Is that what he said?
I've never seen a better executed game plan in my life.
Did he say that? No. I thought you were reading that.
He says Fox's number one crew of Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, and Tom Rinaldi will be here to call 49ers and Rams. So there's the biggest game of the week. It's the biggest game of the year.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll tell you what now that, you know who I really hope the 49ers are able to add before this week is out to play the Rams? Bryce Huff. I hope he's healthy and can play this week.
You got to be able to move the quarterback. If you can't move the quarterback,
this one will hurt you.
Yeah. Man, I mean, I wanted to see them get some extra piece. I wanted to see them be able to speed up the quarterback. And they, to not be able to get Keon White and Cleve Farrell and call it a day. Wow. I don't know, man. I don't know. That to me seems, let's just say this. I'm very underwhelmed by what the 49ers got done at the deadline.
15 minutes ago from Adam Schefter, despite getting calls for Jalen Waddle and Bradley Chubb, the Dolphins did not make another deal before the deadline and opted to hold on to both.
Yeah, which, I do understand why you don't just sell everybody, because what are you going to deal off your entire team? You can only have so many picks and so on and so forth, but very disappointing. I really thought the Niners needed some help up front. I mean, it's a rush and cover game. They needed help. They needed help on the rush. They needed help on the coverage, and they didn't get help from either. I think that's going to do it for us. We're an hour or 21 minutes past the deadline. I think we've got a pretty good feel that for what
if something would have been announced, it would have been announced by now. I'm checking out Barrows. I'm checking out any Niner. Not that any Niner beat writer breaks a single scintilla of news about this team, but none of the national guys are saying anything is about to happen or did happen, or we got a fax machine that came in late at NFL office.
Did you just put that up there?
Yeah, just in 49ers trade for Kruger overtime.
You want me to keep going? You're telling stay going, keep going. We've been on for 3 hours and 44 minutes. We got this super as well. Andre said, this is why you build through the draft. Injuries have left major holes, so have tons of whiffs in these drafts. Whiffing and ignoring O-line has consequences. No question. We got this one, Justin Cheeseman, just in 49ers trade for Krug OT. We got this one, Leo, no trades to lose 10 plus key players again next year. 10 plus. I don't think they're going to lose 10 plus games this year. But I mean, they've already got 6 wins. They'd have to basically lose out.
I think he's saying that they're going to get hurt and 10 more players are going to get injured here.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the other thing too. It's like, you kind of feel like, should they make a trade? Should they not? Because guys are falling like flies.
That's the thing.
But this mythical future season is just a bunch of crap. So what? Fred Warner is going to be healthy next year when he's older? That makes no sense. Bosa is going to be healthier next year when he's older, coming off of a major injury. That makes no sense. CMC is going to be healthier next year. That makes no sense. Trent Williams is going to be healthier next year. That makes no sense. Kittle's going to be healthier next year. That makes no sense. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it sounds good to be like, oh, well, but in reality, I don't think their core is getting better. I think if anything, it's getting older and worse. Propus says I get a full rebuild, but this build for 26 idea people have makes no sense. Core a year older, Trent might retire, Salah might leave, tougher schedule. Yeah, exactly.
This was
like
the year.
Dieters it was so adamant. They're all about 26, and it's like they have an easy schedule in 25. They may not even have their best player on the team next year in Trent Williams in 26. It's a year-to-year proposition. If anybody is going into any year going, we're about next year, that's really a problem.
I'm going to tell you that there's not a single moment of 2026 that matters more than Sunday. And then the Sunday after that, you worry about don't you get enough worries about 2025 to worry about just 2025 instead of worrying about 2026? You're a pretty decent team, even though everything has gone wrong. You wanted a little bit more today. It's easy to forget that they already traded for a running back and another defensive end, and they added another defensive end. It sucks that everybody gets hurt every week. Here you are. I've seen worse football seasons. I've seen better football seasons. This is a football season. This is business-like, man. I think that it's disappointing the Niners didn't do much. I also think it might be smart for them to not overinvest in something that, even though it's okay, you're probably not going to be at your best without Fred Warner or Nick Bosa. I mean, those are 2 huge injuries to overcome. So I don't know.
No question. But the Super Bowl, I mean, this is going to be, you're going to get graded at the end of this Super Bowl, at the end of this season, because the Super Bowl's at home, and they're going to evaluate the 49ers on the national scale. So there will be no, well, we avoided that criticism. You're going to be heavily criticized. So we'll see. I mean, I thought they needed to add more. I still think they need to add more. whether they believe, don't believe. This is the bottom line on this thing. It's like you can't put everything into what you're eating for dinner on Sunday because you got to have dinner on Monday. So it's like you could spend your entire allotment on one great dinner, but how's your family going to eat the rest of the month? And that's what they're thinking about. They're thinking, okay, well, we can go for it right now, but then we have lesser of a draft next year. I think more than anything, they just got to figure out a way to start hitting on day 1 and day 2 of the draft. Yeah. Enough of these mediocre picks and nothing picks. I mean, did you see Walter Nolan last night? Walter Nolan has more sacks in one game, or he's got the same number of sacks in one game as Quinnen Williams has in 9 games. And it's like, you could have had Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan is a beast of an inside rusher, and he's now in your division, and he's going to be a beast for the Cardinals. And you passed on him. So he was a 5-star badass, and he looks really good.
Justin wants you to go tough on Lynch at the presser.
He doesn't even show up at the presser. He's not even at the presser.
He won't even be there. But here's the deal. Who do you think was the biggest? Sauce Gardner to Indianapolis, I think, resonates louder than anything. I know Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys. There's 2 maybe even bigger brands. But the Cowboys, even with Quinnen Williams, I don't think are doing much this year. The Colts,
they were terrible last night.
Yeah, the Colts, man, and look, they made 2 deals, right? They traded for what's his name, Logan Wilson.
The big winners, the Eagles, I think. They got Jalen Phillips.
The Eagles, the Eagles are a big winner. I think Sauce Gardner getting out of New York and attaching himself to Indianapolis is also a big individual winner there. And look, the Colts made a big boy move. They're having a big boy season. They made a big boy move.
I think Chris Ballard, now he gave away 2 number 1s, and you're paying Sauce big money too. So it's a lot of assets, but yeah, I like what they did. I like what Philly did. Those are the ones that really stand out to me.
Dwight sprinkling in a little positivity at the end, Larry. You want it? He paid for it. Thank you, Dwight, for watching. I'm going to bring some positivity here. Saran Neal has made a few good plays on special teams the last few games. Thank you. Thank you for the awesome work. Thank you for watching.
We also, this one, Angel Murillo, what message does it send the vets in the locker room? I mean, the Niners will spin it like, hey, we believe in you, but it really just tells them that, hey, you know what? You're going to have to get it done with the guys in the room, and that's it, period.
By the way, I think we have a harder time explaining what it is going on here to the fans in the chat than any 49er front office personnel member. You don't need to explain to the team what's going on. The team gets it.
Yeah, they always get it. Can't get right says 49ers second half schedule is not that easy.
No, it isn't. There's a few games on there that looked a lot easier when it came out. Colts and Panthers all of a sudden is a little bit more than you expected.
Seriously, Panthers look good. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. We should tell everybody also, we've been going for a while here.
I'm ready for lunch. I'm ready for Pig and a Pickle. I'm ready for some Ikes, and I might need a Guinness at the Dubliner West Portal too. Good God.
Thanks to all of you guys. Thanks to Habas Law, though. Omar Habas and Tarek Habas are great people, and Habas Law is fantastic. For more than 40 years, Omar and his son Tarek have been standing up for people right here in Northern California. They're fierce, relentless attorneys. They don't back down until justice is done. When you're injured, insurance companies try to minimize your pain and your future. Habas Law says no. And they make you pay. They make them pay because they know, they've got power. They've got strength. If you're in need of someone in your corner, call the firm insurance companies. Hope you never call Habas Law. They will fight to make it right. Visit them on the web at habaslaw.com, HABBAS law.com. Thanks to Habas Law for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Couple things that I want to mention here. One about Habas Law. Habas Law is doing something really cool. If you're a Bay Area person, if you're a recipient of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, and affected by the whole government shutdown, Habas Law and Artiega's Food Center are coming together to lend a hand. So join Habas Law this Sunday, November the 9th at Artiega's on 2620 Alum Rock Avenue in San Jose. Each household will receive about $100 in grocery assistance through a simple on-site sign-up. Proof of SNAP and address are required. 1 recipient per household while supplies last. Registration opens at 10 a.m. The event starts at 11 a.m. It's first come, first serve. Habas Law always fighting to make it right. Anyway, thanks to Habas Law for this kind of stuff, right? I mean,
here's the thing. You want to position yourself as we care about the community, or do you really do it? I give them full credit for that, man. Feeding people who need food right now. It's a noble and good thing to do.
No question about it, Damon. So if you need someone in your corner, call the law firm that insurance companies hope you never call, Habas Law. They will fight to make it right. HabasLaw.com on the web, 1-800-INJURED. And thanks to Habas Law for doing great things like that.
I like that.
Helping our community. Great stuff. And I can't say enough. I'm very proud to be associated with Habas Law. We have a couple last ones. 49ers. Oh, we got that one. It's not easy. We got this one from Cass. Thanks for the great show. Well, thank you, Cass. Appreciate that.
Thanks for being a great chat today. I mean, I can't wait to see how many actual chats, how many messages were pumped into today's show by a really, really involved and dialed in fan base. So nice job. Nice job, everybody. Thank you for being here. This was a fun one. This is, I think, maybe one of the more successful and viewed shows you and I have ever done together. So we thank everyone for being here. Larry, you and Kevin came up with a great idea, called me last night. Hey, should we do a show like this? And yeah, let's do that. And that was great. Thanks to Sam Batesh for being here as well and did the first hour with us. And that feels like 6 hours ago.
Seriously. Thanks to Sammy. Thanks to all of you. I'm going to be streaming in about a half hour with Grant Cohn. We'll do a little recap of this whole thing. I'll be on tonight at 6:00 on KMBR. We'll do another breakdown of where the Niners are heading into this game with the Rams. Greg Beacham's going to stop by tonight from the Rams, and we'll get his thoughts on what the Rams are looking like coming into this game.
And you and I will be back on Friday.
And we'll be back on Friday. So for Damon, I'm Larry. Have a great rest of your day. Go Niners. Sorry they didn't make a move. Glad we were here to talk about, well, whatever it is that we did.